money and a lot less work and a much higher quality of life.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
This holiday season, give a gift twice. That's right. With That's Caring as your gift-giving assistant, you'll give someone special a grand holiday gift box, and funds will be given to partnered food banks throughout the country for children who participate in a weekend bag program. Go to that'scaring.com. Choose from delicious gifts like cranberry raisin delight, holly doodle cookie, cinnamon spiced pecans, chocolate mint cookies, and much more. There's a festive gift box to delight anyone on your list. And by ordering a festive gift box, you'll be spreading holiday cheer to those who need it most. For over 10 years, That's Caring has provided over 260,000 meals. Now that's caring. Won't you join them in giving back this holiday season? Go to that'scaring.com, give tremendous happiness, and fight tremendous hunger. Visit that'scaring.com today. That'scaring.com.
The Daily Herald 2022 Best of the Fox winner for Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. The 2022 Reader's Choice Award winner for Best Wealth Management Firm and Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. Are you ready for a change? Choose Total Clarity Wealth Management. With a professional team of financial advisors and CPAs, they can show you the way to financial readiness and keep you on track. Their philosophy is built on solid relationships and trust, with access to expertise in tax planning strategies, 401k rollover services, estate planning, and more. They can help you be ready for anything.
Hi, this is Terry Murphy. The cornerstone of our practice has been to help clients stay focused on their goals throughout life's changes.
Get in touch with them at TotalClarityWealth.com. That's TotalClarityWealth.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Total Clarity Wealth Management Inc., a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Awards are based on number of reader votes. This award is not representative of the views of clients and is not indicative of future performance or services.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
In San Francisco, they won't spruce up the streets for their residents, but they will for a Chinese communist dictator at 5:38.
But now let's head straight into that newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
42 degrees, 5:30 on AM 560, The Answer, and President Biden will meet face-to-face with Chinese President Xi Jinping in San Francisco Wednesday. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan telling reporters the two leaders will discuss fundamental elements in their relationship. Biden administration emphasizing Israel must not, quote, reoccupy, end quote, Gaza when the conflict between Israel and Hamas terrorists comes to an end. Israel is offering incubators for a threatened Gaza hospital. Fox's Jonathan Savage with more from Israel today.
The World Health Organization says the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza City is almost a cemetery. According to health officials there, dozens of patients, including babies, have died due to a lack of power and heavy fighting nearby. The Israeli military tells us it's coordinating the transfer of incubators into Gaza to possibly allow newborns to be evacuated. Hamas denies it has headquarters in the tunnels under the hospital. President Biden has called for medical facilities to be protected. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
The Supreme Court justices have signed on to a code of ethics. Fox's Jared Halperin with more from the White House.
Thousands are expected to gather on the National Mall to show solidarity with Israel in its war against Hamas. The March for Israel is being put together by several Jewish organizations that say the focus is on condemning anti-Semitism and demanding the release of hostages being held by Hamas. Ways to support Israel have been widely talked about in Congress. Senate Republican Conference Chair John Barrasso spoke on the Senate floor last week.
Instead of a ceasefire, we need to cease paying Hamas. We need to cease paying Iran, and we need to cease being silent in the face of anti-Semitism.
Congress is currently working to pass an aid package to Israel that totals about $14 billion. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
About 60,000 are expected for that rally today, scheduled to begin at 1 o'clock. Check your refrigerator. A recall on cantaloupe in at least 10 states, including Illinois. The FDA says Sophia Produce is recalling the fruit sold between October 16 and October 23. the possibility of salmonella contamination. Chicago Fire Department remembering a firefighter who died battling a blaze on the north side. Andrew Price was on the roof of a burning building yesterday in the 2400 block of North Lincoln when he fell through a light shaft and was trapped. CFD Battalion Chief Michael McCormick.
He was a lovely man. He was as sweet as could be. He took extremely good care of himself and his family. He was extremely healthy. He was a light of sunshine.
The 39-year-old Price is the fourth Chicago Fire Department member to die in the line of duty this year. City of Evanston delaying a vote on plans to rebuild Northwestern University's Ryan Field. City Council deciding last night to table the vote after the university increased its public benefit package to more than $150 million over 15 years. Jim Froberg remains against that deal.
What Northwestern is trying to do, if these two ordinances are passed, is to basically say we have the perpetual right to hold concert and other public events at Ryan Field, and you, Evanston, can never take that right away from us.
NU wants to tear down Ryan Field and replace it with a new privately funded $800 million stadium. That new vote comes next Monday. Bulls still lost to the Bucks 118-109 in spite of overcoming a 17-point first-half deficit. Justin Fields inching closer to returning to the field. The team will know whether Fields will be able to go later this week with that dislocated thumb. College hoops Fighting Illini, number 23 in the land, will take on number 5 Marquette at State Farm Center tonight. By the way, there's some really good basketball downtown tonight. Michigan State is back in action tonight, facing number 9 Duke in the State Farm Champions Classic at the UC. That game will be followed by Kentucky and Kansas. The news, a service of Dan and Amy 24/7, around the clock, all day, every day. Listen now, Dan and Amy 247.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Get ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago this Christmas season on their spectacular annual holiday tour. And AM 560 is giving away tickets. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/Christmas. Don't miss the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at the All-State Arena. Go to 560theanswer.com/Christmas.
Homeowners, are you feeling the weight of credit card debt and high mortgage insurance payments? There's great news for you. Home values have increased, and it's time to leverage that to your advantage. Welcome to the Home Value Refinance Solution from Townstone Financial. Your home's increasing value presents an incredible opportunity. With Townstone's Home Value Refinancing Solution, you can use this newfound equity to consolidate high-interest credit card debt and say goodbye to burdensome mortgage insurance payments. Imagine freeing yourself from financial stress. Townstone's experienced team will help you navigate the refinancing process, unlocking the potential in your increased home value. Seize this opportunity. Use the extra equity to reinvest in your home, take that long-awaited vacation, or simply build your savings for the future. Don't let this chance slip away. Call Townstone today at 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com to explore how your increased home value can transform your financial future. Townstone Financial is an Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois mortgage licensee 6629 MLS 136639, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, this is Randy Donnelly from Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois, with my current want list for upcoming auctions. Guns and military items are always at the top of my list, but I have buyers for vintage automobiles and motorcycles, old gas pumps and automotive signs. Do you have pinball machines and coin-operated games like slot machines, jukeboxes? How about Coke machines and soda machines? Also, neon signs, antique phonographs and music boxes, old toys, especially science fiction and Star Wars, cowboy and Native American collections like barbershop, ice cream parlor, and saloon items. We'll take one item or an entire collection. We sell it all. Call me before you sell your items outright because you could be leaving a fortune on the table. And you won't know until you call me at 815-923-7000 or send me an email at DonnellyAuctions.com. My job is to get you top dollar for your collections, so call me at 815-923-7000. I'm Randy Donnelly, and I'll see you at the auction.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave. Don't treat yourself like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
5:38. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. We'll start on the Kennedy, already jamming inbound between Nagel and Montrose. Delays on the Ike right now between the Tri-State and Wolf Road, 27 in from 390 into the old post office. Stevenson inbound, accident left shoulder between Route 83 and County Line Road. And 390, the exit ramp is completely shut down. It's the off-ramp to the inbound Ike from the old Elgin O'Hare, the Route 390 tollway. Heading toward O'Hare, a dump truck flipped over, hauling an unknown material, and a large emergency response there. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Brilliant sunshine today. Mild high 64. Partly cloudy and 42 overnight. Currently 34 at O'Hare, 39 Midway, 43 along the lakefront, and 25 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. By the way, since there was that mention of, the prospect of a government shutdown, shutting down the airports, TSA and air traffic controllers and so forth.
Thanksgiving put on hold was a headline I saw yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
I'd be really concerned about TSA not keeping us safe.
Okay. As Dan rolls his eyes. Okay.
Ridiculous. By the way, I know Mayor Peabody is busy with those staged bike rides he does.
Yeah.
And other matters. U.S. Airlines on course for the worst ever year for flight delays. Airlines racked up 1 million delayed departures in record time in 2023. Almost a quarter of flights so far this year have taken off late. What's late leaves the gate 15 minutes or more after its scheduled time. So, not exactly doing a bang-up job. Now, of course, the industry is complaining about shortages of pilots and air traffic controllers and mechanics and so on and so forth. But just an interesting sort of comment on the state of transportation. And, and again, I'm just taking a shot at Peabody because it's fun to do.
Exactly.
But I mean, I don't expect any.
Somebody called him a soccer mom online. That's going around.
I don't expect anybody who's the Secretary of Transportation, like they're really in charge of making sure that the vast, complicated airline industry operates with maximum efficiency. That's on the carriers. Let's be real here. Right. But it is an opportunity to remind people that Peabody is he's just a mascot. In this, I mean, the video of him.
The future of the Democratic Party, they say.
No, I don't think so. The video of him, if you haven't seen it, getting out of his SUV and getting onto his bike so that he can pretend that he rides his bike to work and he's so eco-friendly. That's good stuff. That's fun. That's fun stuff.
And he did that in France, too, when he was visiting over there, did the same thing.
Yeah,
his detail pulled over, then he got on a bike, and,
We've seen a lot of charlatans at the upper reaches of government in the West, not just in America, do the same thing. You had I think it was a frog official, the French did the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
In route to a climate change conference or something.
And he puts on the Bob the Builder outfit, the safety vest, and the hard hat when he goes to...
just play dress up. I mean, the whole thing is just playing dress up. That's what it is.
He's...
all right, on to other matters. San Francisco, a lot of people are noticing that...
wow, what's going on, dude?
They've really cleaned up the place in advance of the Chinese communist dictator, that would be Xi Jinping's arrival tomorrow.
Yeah, and Governor Newsom, I mean, he even admitted that the tents are down, and they have these nice walls up, too. I thought they were against walls, but yeah, he was honest with the people of California and San Francisco.
Folks say, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming into town. That's true, because it's true. But it's also true for months and months and months prior to APEC, we've been having different conversations.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
He had a plan when he was mayor of San Francisco more than 15 years ago to eradicate homelessness in San Francisco within 10 years. Did anybody ask him how that turned out? London Breed is the actual mayor of San Francisco, so she bears the primary responsibility for what's happening on the streets of San Francisco. Pardon my Carl Malden, right? Wasn't Carl Malden streets of San Francisco? Anyway, I digress. She was interviewed by Bloomberg about this same topic. Boy, a lot of people are noticing that this city that had become a pit, at least for presentation purposes, is looking a lot better. It's gone from pit to Potemkin. What's going on? And she sort of gave the same answer that Newsom did, of course, because they're reading from the same script.
We have been working on this now for a few years. This is not an issue that we've been sitting around waiting to solve. It's been something that San Francisco continues to work on. And since I've been mayor, since 2018, we've helped over 10,000 people exit homelessness. And we've never even had 10,000 people on our streets. We've seen a reduction when other Bay Area cities saw an increase. And so this is a problem that we continuously worked on. This year, fortunately, we've gotten additional resources from the state and the federal government that has really made a tremendous difference around the challenges that we're dealing with.
Keep sending the money. Keep drop shipping that money, like every other big city's mayors saying to their state and to the federal government. Help me a little bit with the
numbers.
We have moved more than the number of homeless people we have out of homelessness. That's
Last I checked, I thought
really
they had
something.
65,000 homeless people on the streets of San Francisco.
These numbers are all fictional.
Okay.
So, I mean, who cares? 10,000, 65,000. We move more than 10,000 people out of homelessness. That's more people than we have that are homeless. What? How does that make? Okay.
But it just pisses me off because the people, the business owners of San Francisco, we're begging, please get these people off the streets so I can do business, so I can live here and raise my family. And they don't do it for them. But then when the president of China comes and Biden comes, they clean it all up. It'll be interesting to see once their visit's over if those people are going to move back to their spots, so to speak.
Well, that was asked. Is this
is
this a temporary or is this a permanent thing? And by the way, I mean, I don't feel this is more just a tale to tell of how the new Marxists operate. And why these big cities are, nut houses. This is not, woe are the residents of San Francisco who enjoy all of this.
Question from our audience that was submitted when they heard you were coming on the program is, were people moved temporarily because of the events of this week from specific blocks and neighborhoods to others? Or was this a permanent action that was taken for what we see on the streets outside?
Well, it was an effort that took place. As you know, we had a court case where it limited our ability to move people off the streets. We still have a few hundred beds available, and our street outreach team is out there every day. And after we got clarity from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal, people...
I didn't really want to answer that question, whether it's temporary. The reporter offered this commentary to try to prompt more disclosure.
Mayor Breed, the frustration of San Franciscans and the perception of the outside world is this happens every APEC or even with Dreamforce. For a week, the city is cleaned up. It puts its best foot forward. But when everyone leaves on Friday or at the end of the week, what guarantees can you give the city that this is permanent, that the actions the city's taken to address the problems we know about will continue?
And what does she have to say to that?
We have certain concentrated areas where there are challenges. Other major cities in the U.S. have the same problems. But in our neighborhoods and the outskirts of San Francisco, things have been looking up for a very long time.
It's big city living.
Oh my God.
It's big city living.
They're all the same.
They are all the same. And by the way, what's interesting to listen to London, why it's interesting to listen to London Breed now, is because you're going to hear the same rap from Brandon Johnson next year with the DNC.
They're going to do the same thing.
Right. So just
They're gonna
get
come
ready
up and
for
clean
it.
all those homeless encampments that line beautiful Lakeshore Drive. They're going to take them away, and then I bet 3 days after the event, they're going to be right back where they were.
Well, I mean,
Get their garbage cans out, get them a porta potty, let's go.
We'll see. Maybe. I mean, you've got Ditka's now is a homeless shelter. You've got
yeah.
the opportunity to make Grand Lux a homeless shelter. At some point, you're going to probably have an opportunity to make Water Tower Place a homeless shelter. So, I mean, there may be options. John in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, guys. Hey, San Francisco's doing the same thing what you would do if you had, like, company come over. Clean up.
Exactly.
You know.
Then it
get
reverts
all
to the
those old
pigsty that it actually is.
Get all those old Kleenexes up off the couch and stuff. Put away your
Okay.
dirty underwear.
Yeah, all right. Okay, I got it. Thanks for the call, John.
Get out the candy dish.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Did you see the wall they put up, though, too? Don't even, that says, don't even think about putting, erecting your tent here.
No, did we always have these freshly cut flowers?
What's that smell? It's beautiful.
Pat in Lockport, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. That San Francisco thing is such a crock of crap, literally. And but what is even more hysterical, I'd love to be a fly on the wall listening to Biden talk to the president of China about their fundamental relationships or aspects of their relationships. That is the biggest joke. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for the
And
call,
why is
Pat.
he here anyway?
Well, he's here for the Asian Pacific.
The Asian Pacific, okay.
Conference, but our friend Gordon Chang, the author and anti-Chi-Com advocate, said you should cancel the whole thing. America shouldn't participate in this. The Chinese Communist Party is an illegitimate regime. Eduardo, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, good morning. So you had a big fire that's going to be taking out the Interstate 10 over there in L.A. There was a homeless camp underneath there. So are we going to set a precedence now that we're going to be clearing out these camps out across the U.S.?
I mean, we got a bunch
Thanks for
under
the
the
call.
Kennedy, on the outbound Kennedy and on the inbound Kennedy.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, how interested people are in homelessness in Chicago with the arrival of the migrants. Hey, we can't do all these base camps for migrants and turn hotels into migrant centers and allow migrants to sleep on the floors in police stations. Hey, what about the homeless? Oh, now there's a recognition there's homelessness in Chicago all of a sudden. I love the sort of the arguments of convenience. I pay no attention to what's happening on Lower Wacker and pay no attention to these 10 cities with respect to the indigenous population that have dotted Chicago for a long time. Now pay attention to them because, hey, what about this by way of making an argument against that because I don't like the implications of what my policy views. I don't like the implications of my policy views, I should say. And so now I'm going to be a homeless advocate because I don't want to come across as unwelcoming, because God forbid. Yeah, we have a homeless problem in Chicago. Everybody just found out when all the migrants came.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. Western politicians, media, and cultural elites have demonstrated a complete failure to grasp reality in the wake of Hamas's October 7 massacres. Agitators for the Palestinian cause and the benighted students of academia have spent the last 4 weeks demanding a ceasefire on behalf of the Gazans. But that's not what Hamas wants. Last week, they told the New York Times that they wanted a state of permanent war with Israel as a means to its annihilation. Only a permanent state of war would convince other Arab nations to join Hamas in the genocide of Jews in Israel. Even before that, Hamas's senior leader, Ghazi Hamad, promised to continue the massacres until they had removed Israel and all of the Jews in the region. Ceasefires are useful when combatants see ways to peacefully coexist with each other. Hamas has never hidden its genocidal ambitions and now proudly proclaims them. Their only use for ceasefires is to gain new tactical advantages to conduct their genocide. When terrorists tell you who they are, believe them. I'm Ed Morrissey.
If you want to see something disgusting too, homeless encampments, Leland and Harding outside the 17th Police District. These are the migrants who have set up on the land that's in between your house and the street.
This is an illustration of leftism. That's the real takeaway here, is they phony concern for people that aren't here. Oh, they've come. Now they're a burden, Brandon Johnson's vocab word. And so they need to go, but I can say that the homeless, what are we doing to help our homeless? It is just layers of fraud, by the way, to add to your
yeah, I tweeted it out at Amy Jacobson.
Your color commentary. Email West Fulton has become like the movie Ben. I wish that's an old reference, but Ben is like a movie, like it's a horror movie from like the 70s about an army of angry rodents. Anyway, I wish Brandon would come on over and get his picture taken in the alley off Green between Fulton and Lake.
Okay, so another place to go explore. All right, are you a business owner or department head already planning for 2024? If you're like most businesses in Chicagoland, you've probably had a challenging year with sustaining revenue, hiring new recruits, keeping operating costs at bay. Maybe you've had a great year, though, and want to build the momentum in the months to come. Whether your business faces obstacles like financial setbacks, fierce competition, IT nightmares, or unforeseen crisis, it's not about the challenges you face, it's how you overcome them and the people you partner with. With decades of C-suite experience from their consulting team to over 25 years of managed IT services, Turnkey, yes, Turnkey, knows small business. Set yourself and your business up for success. Let Turnkey show you how. Turnkey is Chicago's small business champion. Visit turnkey.pro and start a conversation today. That's turnkey.pro.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Nick Philippus, co-owner of Joe Donut and a proud customer of Signature Bank. We're a locally owned artisan donut shop that focuses on chef-made small batch and craft donuts. We have 7 locations around the Chicagoland suburbs, with an 8th location coming soon. After opening our original stores in Glenview and Niles, we came to Signature Bank for financing for our new Mount Prospect location. From PPP and material delays in construction, Signature Bank was flexible and truly a banking partner that a small business like ours hadn't experienced before. Even their fraud department was able to stop a $30,000 fraudulent check from clearing our account. That allowed us to focus on selling donuts, knowing Signature Bank had our back.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Get ready for an event like no other. It's Glock Days at Gat Guns in East Dundee, Illinois, happening on November 18th and 19th. Are you a Glock enthusiast? Or maybe you're just curious about what makes Glock the gold standard in firearms? Well, mark your calendars, because on November 18th, Gat Guns has the Glock rep right there in store, ready to answer all your burning questions. Gat Guns is loaded up with hundreds of Glock pistols and even more Glock accessories. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a first-time buyer, they've got something special just for you. Don't miss this Gat Guns exclusive sales event, where you will find unbelievable deals and discounts on most of the Glock lineup. While you're there, enter to win a new Glock pistol. So, gear up, lock in, and join Gat Guns for Glock Days on November 18th and 19th, Saturday and Sunday at Gat Guns in East Dundee, Illinois. This event is not to be missed. For more information and directions, visit gatguns.com. That's gatguns.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you reminded me during the break that London Breed is a big Tony fan, and I'm not talking about Preckwinkle. Remember this instant classic?
The Black Cat. And I think it's sad that this is even a story. The fact is, there was something that was really monumental that occurred, and that is Tony, the original members, the brothers, Raphael Sadiq and Dwayne Wiggins, who have not performed in public for, I believe, at least over 20 years. They are just really some of the most incredible artists in the history of this country and the Bay Area in particular. And the fact that that is getting lost here is very unfortunate.
Because she went out.
There it is. I mean,
She went out to a bar and got her
song.
drink on and her dance on, and she had restrictions in clubs, and she was not wearing a mask.
During COVID.
During COVID, the
Yeah,
whole thing
during
during
the
COVID.
lockdown. Yeah.
And they asked her about it, and she deflected so wonderfully, saying, you don't know the significance of them reuniting and performing in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so great.
I mean, Feels Good was a fun song. I don't know that I would put to Tony in the pantheon of the greatest musicians in the history of Western civilization, but to each their own. London Breed. Yeah, we're focused on Tony. Don't focus on my hypocrisy. Of course. Of course.
So classic.
Face of the city in Chicago, Tony in San Francisco. Got to go get his workout on in New York under the Sandinista and Bill de Blasio. They're all
have at the dinner at the French Laundry with my family and friends.
all the same. They're all the same. It doesn't matter. They're just, the names are different, but they are all the same. The leftists in charge of big city America. And the results are all the same.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I want to party with the FDIC at 6:06.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Chicago Fire Department is remembering a firefighter who died battling a blaze on the north side. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
March for Israel. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Thousands of people are expected at a pro-Israel rally at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. today to condemn anti-Semitism and demand the release of hostages. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, in an email to employees, acknowledges disagreements within the department on the administration's approach to Israel's war with Hamas and says he, too, feels anguish about civilian suffering in Gaza. Fox's Trey Yingst in southern Israel reporting on the fighting.
An excavator inside Gaza, an indication the Israelis are starting to dig up some of the tunnel entrances for Hamas that are being used to pop out and engage those forces inside the strip. The Israelis say 47 of their soldiers have died since the ground operation began 2.5 weeks ago. These intense battles continue. You just hear that explosion there. Airstrikes also against the northern part of the strip.
And the Israeli government confirms the death of a 19-year-old female soldier taken hostage, killed in an Israeli airstrike, according to Hamas. President Biden gives a speech this morning about the administration's efforts to fight climate change and then flies to San Francisco for a summit on trade and the economy and also a meeting with China's president.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says intense diplomacy is needed ahead of President Biden's Wednesday meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
We anticipate that the leaders will discuss some of the most fundamental elements of the U.S.-PRC bilateral relationship, including the continued importance of strengthening open lines of communication and managing competition responsibly so that it does not veer into conflict.
The leaders convening for the first time in a year during the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco following tensions between the world's two largest economies. Also expected to discuss a vision for peace across the Taiwan Strait, restoring military-to-military ties, and fentanyl production. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
A Republican effort to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is blocked in the House. America's listening to Fox News.
32 degrees in Chicago. 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott, Chicago Fire Department, remembering a firefighter who died while battling a blaze on the north side. Andrew Price was on the roof of a burning building yesterday in the 2400 block of North Lincoln Avenue when he fell through a light shaft and was trapped. Chicago Fire Battalion Chief Michael McCormick says everyone who knew Andrew Price loved Andrew Price.
He was a lovely man. He was as sweet as could be. He took extremely good care of himself and his family. He was extremely healthy. He was a light of sunshine.
The 39-year-old died later at a nearby hospital. Price is the fourth Chicago Fire Department member to die in the line of duty this year. City of Evanston delaying a vote on plans to rebuild Northwestern University's Ryan Field. City Council tabled the vote after the university last night increased its public benefit package to more than $150 million over 15 years. Resident Peggy Baxter says it's all a good deal.
This has always been about what Evanston can receive from Northwestern, and I think one thing that both proponents and opponents can agree on is that we want as much as we can get for our community, and many of us are very pleased with Northwestern is currently offering.
The vote is now expected to take place next Monday. R. Kelly is suing the federal government over allegations his private information was leaked while he was locked up in Chicago's federal jail. Kelly is currently serving overlapping prison sentences in North Carolina. No one is in custody following a deadly shooting of a food delivery driver in the city's Humboldt Park neighborhood. The crime happened early Saturday in the 1400 block of North Avers.
I heard gunshots all of a sudden. It was like about 30 in a row. Real loud. Pow, 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 pow.
Police say the suspect was in a blue car that pulled up to the victims. 31-year-old Tremont Thomas was shot several times and died later at Stroger Hospital. Chicago sports. Bulls lost to the Bucks 118-109 last night. The News is a service of Salem Surround, the local digital marketing agency. Go to surroundchicago.com today. AM 560 news time is 6:04. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Get ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago this Christmas season on their spectacular annual holiday tour. And AM 560 is giving away tickets. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/Christmas. Don't miss the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at the All-State Arena. Go to 560theanswer.com/Christmas.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95 and comes with our Feel Better or Your Money Back guarantee. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
I love giving jewelry as a gift. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I want to tell you that Roland's Jewelers is the perfect place for that magical holiday gift for someone you love. I'm always amazed by their 5-star Google reviews. I love that they're family-owned. Hey, getting engaged? Well, Roland's Jewelers has a large selection of both mined and lab-grown diamonds at great prices. Choose from beautifully crafted engagement rings from designer Simon G. or Italian designer Roberto Coin, offering stunning diamond pendants and earrings. How about a Tag Heuer watch with cutting-edge technology? Listen, I've been a customer of Roland's Jewelers for a long time. You should too. They're so impressive. Their staff is expertly trained. I encourage you to visit Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville or visit RolandsJewelers.com. That's ROLLANDS, RolandsJewelers.com. Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust this holiday, just like I do.
6:07 on AM 560. The Answer. Worried about basement flooding? Time to call Permaseal Basement Systems. 800-421-7325. On the roads, we will start on the Reagan I-88 eastbound. to the off-ramp at York Road. Ramp lanes are blocked. Traffic is getting by on the right-hand shoulder because of an accident on that exit ramp to York Road. Tri-State jammed up northbound already between the Reagan and the Eisenhower merge. Bishop Ford has an accident with a right lane block inbound between 130th and Cottage Grove. The outbound Dan Ryan just cleared an accident at 75th. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast and the latest from Steve Williams.
Lots of sun. It'll be a mild day today. The high at 64. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 42. And then sunny, breezy, warm day tomorrow, the high 66. Clouds and warm, breezy on Thursday, the high at 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
32 degrees at O'Hare, 37 degrees at Midway, 23 degrees in Aurora. Your next news update, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I'll tell you, I understand why there is agreement, bipartisan agreement for continuing resolutions to prevent the proverbial government shutdown, because you don't want to shut this party down at the FDIC.
What's going on? I love a good party.
You think the banking examiners at the FDIC are a bunch of vanilla, humorless, gray-suited automatons
with pocket protectors and glasses? And
you'd be wrong.
All buttoned up.
The green eye shades folks like to get their drink on. Mm-hmm. They like to go to houses of ill repute.
Oh.
They like to send pee-pee pics.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
A male Federal Deposit Insurance Corp supervisor in San Fran invited employees to a strip club. Supervisor in Denver had sex with his employee, told other employees about it, and pressed her to drink whiskey during work. Senior bank examiners texted female employees photos of their penises. And all of those men remained, all those bad boys of the FDIC remained employed at the agency. This toxic work environment now documented in a Wall Street Journal expose of the FDIC.
Misogynistic behavior.
Female examiners left the FDIC because of what they say was sexualized boys club environment. And, right, a bunch of dorks. And they believed they were consistently given fewer opportunities than their male counterparts. The agency tolerated a heavy drinking culture. The FDIC's 11-story hotel outside Washington. The FDIC has an 11-story hotel outside of Washington, where out-of-town employees stay when attending training, was a party hub where people have vomited in the elevator, urinated off the roof after nights of heavy drinking.
What is going on around here?
The carousing spawned an Instagram account that posted in 2021, quote, "If you haven't puked off the roof, were you ever really at FIS?" referring to a bank examiner in training.
We've been
How
doing
about
this.
it?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Lee
I feel
Harvey.
pretty tame, the trips we used to take with our listeners. We
When
never
you
did anything like
tried to make it with that cow, you're a madman. In 2020, the agency's inspector general found the FDIC's policies for preventing, identifying, and disciplining sexual harassment fell short. And in response, the FDIC official gave the pro forma: harassment in any form is contrary to our values and our deep commitment to fostering a diverse and inclusive workplace. So now they've hired a law firm to look into these horrific allegations of harassment and discrimination. Oh, my gosh. The Wild West, they called it, at the FDIC.
I still can't get over they had their own hotel.
You got to do all that training so that they can then be dispatched around the country to preserve the integrity of our banking system. Sure, that's what they do. All right, insert your own direct deposit joke anywhere you want with respect to the FDIC. I just, I just want you to remember these are our regulators. These are our betters.
Right. Remember when Silicon Valley Bank fell? The FDIC was there. They're our leaders, and they're out partying and what? Strip club invites.
These stories. Well, it gets a little more serious with the stories of this sort of boorish behavior. It's just a reminder. Tell your friends, the people in government are not magical, and they're not better than you or me or anybody else. So why do you, to the friends that do, why do you place blind faith in these people? Why do you say the government will solve it as your default position to everything? Story after story after story. The examples of this kind of stuff in government are legion, of course. Because the examples in the private sector are legion too. Because they're just human beings. And a lot of them are flawed. And a lot of them are patronage hires. And a lot of them are insulated from accountability because they're in the government. So probably more prevalent when it comes to, this sort of conduct, because there's no bottom line sensitivity. There's no real performance metrics that have to be met. At least not with consequences attached. Just get up on doing your 9 to 5 and retire at 55. That's why the stories are important. They're fun and you can be silly, but it's also, what is the missing piece of your gray matter that allows you to continue to imagine that private vice becomes public virtue when some schlub who lives next door to you becomes a federal government employee or a state government employee or an elected official? Remarkable. Related story. 3 people have been charged with running a sophisticated commercial sex ring in Massachusetts and Northern Virginia, federal government base camp, that cater to well-connected clients such as elected officials and military officers. Federal prosecutors disclosed in court last week. Women were featured on websites that falsely claimed to advertise nude Asian models for professional photography, and high-end apartments with monthly rents as much as $3,600 were used as brothels, according to prosecutors. Another website allowed clients to rate the women. Apartments in Fairfax County were connected to the There were apartments in Fairfax County connected to the multi-state brothel bust. The commercial sex ring was built on secrecy and exclusivity, catering to wealthy and well-connected clientele, and the business was booming, said the acting U.S. attorney in Massachusetts. Brothels were in Watertown and Cambridge. Cambridge, that's where Harvard is. While others were outside D.C.
Oh, my God.
So,
who do they think they are? And how long do they think they can get away with it?
Well, the more pertinent question, who are the they?
Right. It's like Epstein's flight list. Who was on his Epstein's plane? Who are these people? Why don't they name names? If it was anybody else, they'd name their name.
Cambridge and Northern Virginia, right? If they do a street
Republican,
a street sting, and you get picked up, then you're on the police blotter. So who are all these people? Well-connected clients such as elected officials and military officers.
Oh, okay, and their names are? Married to who?
And how many worked at the FDIC? Len in Highland Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Hopefully I'm going to caddy today. I was at Chicago Merck for 30 years. These guys, we got nothing on them. I thought we were bad. They destroyed our image. I'll let you take it from there, Dan.
Thanks for the call. Right, the Merck guys have nothing on the FDIC, is what Len was saying. The old Merck guys, trading floor guys. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, which guy was the bookie? Which guy was the drug dealer over at FDIC, or is present tense? Clay, Libertyville.
Morning, Dan and Amy. Yeah, I'm a very immature person sometimes, and I have plenty of jokes coming. But I'm gonna take this one serious. At 20 years old, I pulled my money from all FDIC banks. I was fed up with them when I was 20 years old. Before I could take a sip of alcohol, I was disgusted by how they run their banks. And I moved all of my money into community banks and or credit unions. I cannot stand those people. They're a plague on this earth, and they are definitely just an evil.
Well, I mean, those are strong opinions about the FDIC, which is a rather faceless bureaucracy. But I mean, was there some sort of experience? Did an FDIC examiner send you a picture of his penis or something?
Nothing that graphic. There was money involved. I really, it's a little personal because.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, sorry.
It sounded personal. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it's our lives. So how do you not take it personal? And that goes with government too. How do you not take it personal when these people are set and hell-bent on destroying your life, and they don't care if they do it?
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting.
Thanks for the call, Clay. All right. Yeah. No. We'll try to stay on this brothel story. Try and stay on the Epstein story.
I mean, why? And you know that if it was a well-known Republican politician in Northern Virginia partaking in this kind of debauchery, we would have their name.
Well, maybe
right away.
Maybe that's included, and if you release one, then you have to release them all. We don't know. Could be. Wouldn't surprise me.
Why are they protecting sickos? You know what I mean? Like that are engaging in illegal behavior. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and also too, I mean,
people think, it's not a victimless crime. Ask the prostitute who might have been forced into prostitution.
Well, that's the thing here. This sounds like it may, be the human trafficking. There may be a human trafficking aspect to this as well. That's why I asked politicians, military, not to mention when, this is like Swalwell and his honeypot, that dingbat from California and his Chi-Com honeypot.
Yeah, the Mimbo.
So, I mean, high politicians, military officials, if they're engaged in this sort of illicit activity, they could also be compromised. And, their personal conduct may not be of particular interest to you, although I would suggest it should be. But if it compromises their ability to do their job or to make decisions based on the appropriate considerations, then that's a problem. Yeah. High-level officials, Cambridge, Fairfax. We'll have to see what frankly, we'll have to see what the U.S. Attorney of Massachusetts is going to disclose. But in addition to that, here again, like the Epstein case, no clients. I mean, it would be nice if you would have some people that have positions of power in D.C. that would say, this is troubling, so I want to know more. We'll see if anybody does that. Grant on I-90.
Good morning, Danny and Amy. What an excellent show you guys have. You can't blame the guys at the FDIC. It's not their fault because all the women were wearing deposit slips.
Hi-oh! Thank you. Finally. I was looking for a banking joke.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some great news. From now until January 15th, the health insurance exchanges are open again. And even if you've never qualified for a health insurance subsidy before, you most likely will now. The American Rescue Plan expanded subsidy eligibility to millions of Americans who have never qualified before, even to those with high income levels. And this year, you can purchase a multi-state PPO policy, which includes access to Northwestern Medical Group, as well as other teaching hospitals around the nation. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 25-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than 10 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Guys, a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and be sure to visit a provider you can trust. I trust my friends at Low T Center, where I've been getting my levels checked the past 8 years. At Low T Center, they make it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with their on-site lab, you get the results back in about 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, notice weight gain and loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone levels. Low T Center is not your typical doctor's office where you have a long wait. It's concierge medicine exclusively for men. They have affordable and convenient options for treatment, including physician-monitored self-inject treatments that ship directly to you each month, so there's no need to drive to the center for weekly visits. And right now, Low T Center is only $25 to get your T-level tested with results back in about 25 minutes, so what are you waiting for? Log on now to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Tell them Dan Prof sent you when you do. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Homeowners experiencing low water pressure, rusty yellow water, little to no hot water, or pressure so low that showering is difficult?
Honey, don't flush. I'm in the shower.
These are all symptoms of clogged and corroded galvanized water pipes that are filled with gunk older than you. You should see it. It's disgusting. You drink it, brush your teeth with it, and bathe in it. Yuck. For your family's sake, repipe your home with quality PEX or copper pipes from All Affordable Plumbing. We're your local, family-owned and operated repiping expert. We can repipe your home in 1 to 3 days with minimal disturbance, and we include a lifetime guarantee. And for a limited time, we're offering 12-month no-interest, no-payment financing and a free water heater. So if you have low water pressure, call for a free in-home estimate at 800-NEW-PIPE or visit allaffordable.org. That's 800-NEW-PIPE or visit allaffordable.org. If you have low water pressure, a copper repipe will get you flowing again. Call for a free estimate at 800-NEW-PIPE. That's 800-NEW-PIPE.
All right. I had some fruit, had some vegetables, but I still wanted more, and that's why I take Balance of Nature. There's 31 whole fruits and vegetables in the capsules. Real food, real science, real nutrition. They take the fruits and veggies and turn them into a powdered substance after an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. People who take it love it. Increased energy, the ability to keep doing the things they love even as they age. I spoke with my friend the other day, and she said her nails are stronger. She has thicker hair. She says it's because of Balance of Nature, and I believe her. The number to call, 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago. First-timers get free shipping and 35% off their order. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to use discount code Chicago.
Do you have a home remodeling project you'd love to get done? This is your opportunity to lock in this year's pricing with Chicago's Design Build Dream Team. Forever Remodeling is now offering exceptional savings. Simply sign on by December 31st to avoid any price increases next year. At Forever Remodeling, their expert designers and installers will turn your dreams into reality. Act now and you'll not only protect yourself from future price increases, but also beat the rush and secure a preferred spot in their schedule. Call 847-809-3355 or visit foreverremodeling.com. Highly skilled to design and build.
Hi, Wayne Burdick, Health Insurance Specialist. Open enrollment for individual and small group plans has arrived. There are many plan changes for 2024. Let me help you find the right plan. Lower your cost of insurance, reduce deductibles and out-of-pocket expenses. Call now, 847-274-5918, or go to lowercosthealthplans.com. Having an agent is crucial and no cost to you. Call Burdick Insurance at 847-274-5918 or lowercosthealthplans.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, at the city government level, so talking about our betters, like those wild and crazy guys at FDIC. Meet Denise Barreto. She's the Chicago Transit Authority's first chief equity officer.
Why are they worried about that when they should be focusing on crime on the CTA?
You got to eradicate transportation racism. Oh, boy. Mm-hmm. 847-274-5918 or lowercosthealthplans.com. Highly skilled to design and build. 847-274-5918 or lowercosthealthplans.com.
5918 or lowercosthealthplans.com. 847-274-5918 or lowercosthealthplans.com.
she's a black woman, as she makes mention many times during this interview she did with Craig Dellamore for WBBM's At Issue program, Dellamore's program.
How many times did she mention?
Plenty.
Okay.
She's a big fan of Tony Preckwinkle, big fan of Stacey Abrams, who she called a colleague. She's in the...
Stacey Abrams a colleague?
She's in the equity business, which is to say the racism business.
She's running a choo-choo?
Listen to what she has to say, because most of the conversation was about the CTA needs cash. What else is new? She knows how to talk to downstate elected officials in MAGA country. Crackers. Down in central and southern Illinois. The honkies. She was an elected official in Lake in the Hills. She was a village trustee in Lake in the Hills in McHenry County. And you know what McHenry County is full of.
Honkies?
White supremacists.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I'm starting to plant the seeds. We need a more equitable funding model to relate to that, because we get compared a lot to New York, to MTA, to places where they have different funding models than us. And our funding model, which originates the one that we're in right now from 1983, it's been 40 years and it's outdated and it is inequitable. And so that's what we're going to be talking to lawmakers about. That's what we're doing during veto session. It's all been about education. And, I'm so glad you brought up that point about, talking to them and how that's different than talking to the general public. I'm letting lawmakers know this is a once in a generation type thing. If this act hasn't been opened in 40 years, I'm telling these people, you are going to be judged, right, in 20 years from now, from the decisions that you make today. And I can say that because I've been elected before. A lot of times when when you're talking to these folks, they're like, well, you don't understand. You'd have never had your name on a ballot. I have twice in McHenry County, right? That wasn't very friendly to people that look like me.
Anybody in McHenry County, Lake in the Hills, would you like to respond to the comment that McHenry County, Lake in the Hills, that's where she was on the ballot, doesn't like black women because of how they look, because of them being black and being women, I guess? That's what she said.
That is a nasty allegation she just made.
McHenry County's full of racists. She was elected, I think, twice, village trustee in Lake in the Hills. Not very friendly to people who look like her.
Oh, I don't know. They voted for you twice.
Interesting statement about community in which she resides or resided. I don't know which. And, the general region. She's really sacrificing, though, to take on this job. To have to deal with people that don't like her because of the way she looks. Because that's how she views honkies, in case that wasn't clear.
Honestly, I didn't want to be in this business. I'm a Gen X Black woman who came up in corporate America. I was on my way to being someone's CEO or someone's CMO. That's the way I was going. I was a business major. I was a communications. I wasn't trying to be in equity. But let's be real. Corporate America didn't know what to do with this energy, and it abused this energy, and it didn't promote this energy in the way that it should have.
Corporate America didn't know what to do with all this talent, this energy.
Yeah.
But she was called to do it. She's called to do it, sacrificing for you and me, including you racists in Lake in the Hills.
Me and Stacey Abrams were doing that in small pockets, and nobody was talking about it, and nobody was investing in us. I did not want to do this work, but you know what? I got called into it because of what my skills are. My skills, my courage, and my tenacity. And you see this energy. I mean, you're feeling it. like I can't contain this energy. I'm a Scorpio too. So it's either all in or it's nothing.
You go, girl. What to do with all of this?
Jesse McHenry.
Hi, yeah, just calling in. I mean, I really resent those kind of statements from her, because as someone who lives in McHenry County and really lives among people who have a really high regard for, individual rights, things like that. Wow, that's crazy.
It's something,
She
isn't
should
it?
have a
Thanks
bite
for the
of-
call, Jesse.
She should have a bite of humble pie or something. My Lord.
That's the kind of talent that's putting together in the city of Chicago to I guess, in part run things like your mass transit systems. It's going well. It's going real well. Coming up at 6:36, we'll talk to Stephen Bucci, Heritage Foundation. Is it a problem that the average age of a Ukrainian soldier is 43? When the war started, it was between 30 and 35. The manpower issue with Steve Bucci, 6:36.
And later, the governor of New York has a comment for you people who don't want to live in their tents. Too bad. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
34 degrees at 6:33. President Biden will meet face-to-face with the Chinese president in San Francisco on Wednesday. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan telling reporters the two leaders will discuss fundamental elements of the two's relationship. Meantime, the Biden administration is emphasizing Israel must not reoccupy Gaza when the conflict between Israel and Hamas terrorists comes to an end. The Supreme Court justices are signing on to a code of ethics. It comes after several Senate Democrats wanted the court's justices to be talked to about ethics and responsibility on the bench. Several National Guard units will assist D.C. police today with the March for Israel on the National Mall. About 60,000 people are expected for today's rally, scheduled to begin at 1 p.m. Chicago Fire Department remembering a firefighter who died battling a blaze on the north side yesterday. Andrew Price was on a burning building in the 2400 block of North Lincoln Avenue when he fell through a light shaft and was trapped. CFD Battalion Chief Michael McCormick says Drew Price was loved by everyone.
He was a lovely man. He was as sweet as could be. He took extremely good care of himself and his family. He was extremely healthy. He was a light of sunshine.
The 39-year-old died later at a nearby hospital. He is the fourth Chicago Fire Department member to die in the line of duty this year. City of Evanston delaying a vote on plans to rebuild Northwestern University's Ryan Field. City Council deciding last night to table the vote after the university increased its public benefits package to more than $150 million over the next 10 years. A rezoning hearing for the Goshen Battery Plant in Manteno has been moved to accommodate an anticipated large turnout. Officials have shifted the venue from the community center to an elementary school. Initially set for November 14, the newly rescheduled meeting will now happen on November 21. Cub fans got to hear from their new manager, speaking out for the first time since the ball club introduced Craig Counsell. He met the media yesterday.
Northwestern. It is time to be a Cub, right? There is momentum happening here, and it feels close. And that means there's a really exciting future ahead of us. And now it's my job to be part of taking us to the next level.
Counsell was hired away from the Brew Crew last week. Counsell's first game as manager will be against the world champion Texas Rangers next March. Bulls beaten by the Bucks 118-109 last night. Zach LaVine said the team struggled to shoot, even though Nikola Vucevic had 26 and 12 boards in the loss. College hoops tonight. The Fighting Illini, number 23 in the land, take on number 5 Marquette. Downtown at the United Center, it's Michigan State back in action against Duke in the State Farm Champions Classic. And that game will be followed by Kentucky and Kansas. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where you can join today at 560theanswer.com/join. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Seems like everywhere you look, you'll find a turkey. In City Hall, in Springfield, and, of course, in the White House. But this year, AM 560 The Answer wants to make sure there's a turkey on your dinner table for Thanksgiving. So we're giving away butterball turkeys. And yes, with God as our witness, we know that turkeys can't fly. So to enter, just go to 560theanswer.com/turkey. That's 560theanswer.com/turkey.
Right now is a really good time to get your student loans under control. There are so many people that we talk to every day who tell us that they just feel so much anxiety and overwhelmed by their student loans. But once they pick up that phone and call us, and we're able to give them a plan and a strategy that may lower their payment by hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars, and may actually get their loans forgiven. The point is just to give people some clarity and control over their situation so that they know that whatever the payment is, whatever the plan is, there actually is a plan, and that plan is going to save them the most amount of money. I'm Ray Kaplan, and I can help you get debt-free, stress-free. Give us a call at 312-294-8989 or visit us at financialrelief.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
Hi, my name is Peg. I'm a wife, mother, and grandmother. Family is so important to me, and I want to stay healthy so that I can continue to do the things that I enjoy doing with all of them. I would recommend Balance of Nature. It's so easy to do every day. I feel great, and who doesn't want to feel great?
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Pluto TV has all your true crime favorites, all for free. It's TV the way it should be. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
6:39, a quick update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Blindster.com. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install their blinds and save big at Blindster.com. Route 390, we've been telling you about the old Elgin O'Hare this morning. Toll road's been gummed up. The westbound off-ramp to the inbound Ike's been closed for over an hour. Overturned dump truck was in the way. They are still working on that problem on Route 390 this morning. Tri-State disabled vehicle right lane blocking things up northbound right at the Eisenhower Expressway. Bishop Ford stop-and-go traffic inbound now between 130th and the Dan Ryan. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. We'll have brilliant sunshine today and mild, a high of 64. Currently 34 at O'Hare, 37 at Midway, 21 degrees in Aurora this morning. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago. Ensure your legacy lives on. Set your final wishes in place. Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. America First with Sebastian Gorka. Weekday afternoons at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Andrei Yermak is a advisor to Zelensky in Ukraine. He was on with our friend Brett Baer on Special Report yesterday. Asked how things are going, given all the reporting about stalemate, manpower issues, the anonymous quotations of alleged senior advisors to Zelensky saying, even if we had all the weapons we wanted, we don't have the men to use them. average age I mentioned before the break. Average age of Ukrainian soldier is reported to be 43.
Wow.
That's almost a decade older than the average age of Ukrainian children when the war started, which obviously speaks to mounting casualties against a backdrop where the Russians already have a 5-to-1 manpower advantage. But Yermak said to Brett Baier and to American taxpayers, no, we're making progress. Things are going well. You should have complete confidence.
Our response is that American taxpayers can rest easy. It's everything under control, and we really have the guarantees that all findings, it's absolutely using under control of the American sides. And we are working very transparency, and we need this support to win this war.
What about how things are going? You know, there's multiple reports that it's essentially a stalemate and that there's not progress against the Russians.
You know, in the war, it's the time is calculated in another way. But I can say that during this period of time, the support of United States and other allies, we already liberated 50% of the occupied territories from 24th of the February last year. And our counter-offensive, it's continue. Of course, everybody wants that it's happened more quickly, but we have very positive results every day.
For more on this, pleased to be joined by Stephen Bucci. Served America for 3 decades as an Army Special Forces officer and top Pentagon official, visiting fellow in the Heritage Foundation's Allison Center for Foreign Policy Studies. Stephen Bucci, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me back on the show.
Am I being unfair by being highly skeptical of the response we heard from that Zelensky advisor? It's not inspiring a lot of confidence for me.
You know, it's one of those things that the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. Official spokesmen generally tend to be very optimistic.
Yeah.
People who are not willing to be named and are talking in the background are, frankly, in my opinion, are always potentially dubious because you don't know what their agendas are.
Mm-hmm.
The spokesman, you know what his agenda is. He's trying to get us to continue to support him. He's trying to keep the morale of the country up. So you know he's going to be, you know, Mr. Sunshine, relatively speaking. The other folks, though, you don't know whether they're being truthful or are they trying to be destructive? Or, you know, are they getting an envelope from Moscow to try and undermine the morale there? I'm not saying they are, but we don't know. So the fact that somebody's not putting their name to it makes me suspicious.
Well, that's fair, but I mean, what about the underlying reality? And what I mentioned too, the average age of a Ukrainian soldier is 43. We're going to have Lindsey Graham and Chuck Schumer suit up.
if they were here in America. But you know, I agree with you. It's not as positive as I think a lot of us who hope Ukraine is victorious would hope. But again, this kind of war that this thing has devolved into, it's not like doing giant left hooks across the desert into Iraq. This is a very much a dug in, difficult kind of fight, more reminiscent of World War I even than World War II, other than the quality and the killing power of the weapons. So I think everybody who is rooting for Ukraine would hope that they would have made better progress, but I think they're still making progress. I don't think it's a complete stalemate, but it's going much more slowly than anybody would hope, other than Vladimir. But I think that the part you left out of your analysis was the effect of this on Russia. You know, the Russians are arresting people and forcing them into their military. Young men are leaving the country still to avoid the draft. Not just young men, but any man. You know, they're still getting people out of prisons to fight. So it's not like Russia is got everything in the world going for them, other than being big and having lots of bodies that they can feed into that meat grinder. But even in Russia, when you do that long enough, there's a cost. And I think that that's the part that balances this off. Russia doesn't benefit from a stalemate either.
Well,
So,
what does winning look like for Ukraine?
I mean, ideally for Ukraine, it's get Russia out of all Ukrainian territory. I don't know if we're going to get there. So I think a more likely win would be getting Ukraine out of the territory that Russia, or getting Russia out of Ukrainian territory that they took in the most recent invasion. So go back to the status quo before they invaded last year.
So
I think that would be a win.
So, I mean, one viewpoint is basically, look, we should just provide the funding or some approximation of the funding and the weaponry that Ukrainians want, as long as they're willing to fight. And if they want to fight to the last Ukrainian, then fine. That's on balance in our interests. Is that? I mean, it's a bit cynical, and I don't mean to be inhumane about it, but I mean, is that essentially the posture?
I think it is, and I don't think it's being cynical. It is not in our interest for Russia to prevail in any way, shape, or form. If Russia wins and takes over, what it has now or more of Ukraine, that is a huge net loss for the United States influence, but also for the international relations sphere in general, because one, it will probably lead to Russia doing other things later, and it will certainly embolden China towards Taiwan, Iran, all over the Middle East, and you never know what the heck North Korea is going to do. But in Ukraine, we have a country that's doing the fighting. They still have not asked America to send troops. They haven't asked NATO to send troops. They're just saying, hey, just give us the wherewithal so we can keep fighting. And it's hard not to sit there and go, okay, I got to admire those guys. They're willing to put their blood on the line. They just need the help from a material standpoint.
You mentioned Iran. There's rumor going around that the Biden administration is about to unfreeze another $10 billion in Iranian assets for use by the mullahs to continue sponsoring terrorism, which is a bit baffling. State Department spokeshuman Matt Miller was asked about this yesterday. Here's what he said.
There are speculations on social media that the U.S. is about to waive issue a new waiver on Iran that will allow Iran to access $10 billion. Why, when, how? Anything you can tell us?
I think you certainly shouldn't expect me to comment on speculation on social media, and I will decline to do so. Go ahead, and then we'll wrap it up.
Is it true, though?
Yeah, I think I just answered it, or declined to answer.
It makes me long for the days of Jen Psaki and Marie Harf. So what about this $10 billion?
If they do that, I won't be dumbfounded. To do that would be the most absurdly inappropriate thing that we could do on the international stage right now. Iran has fully funded Hamas, equipped Hamas, has given Hezbollah way more than they've given to Hamas, are lauding what happened in Israel and demanding that it happen more, that Israel stand down, that they shouldn't defend themselves, and is still from the balconies in Tehran are still calling for the full destruction of Israel, our only real full ally in the Middle East. To sit there and do any more deals with them and not be rolling back the deals we may have already agreed to but have not yet executed is ludicrous. And that the Biden administration is even still talking to Iran, other than putting a finger in their chest and telling them stand down and get all of your people to stand down, I think is a huge mistake. It shows nothing but weakness. And I'm not trying to be bellicose. They're shooting at our guys over there. None of these proxies are doing it on their own. They're doing it at the behest of the IRGC. And to sit there and then at the same moment go, well, this is just humanitarian aid. It's got nothing to do with the military. That's loony.
Well,
do they really think the IRGC doesn't get their hands on that money?
Right. Haven't we had close to 53 Americans injured on bases in Iraq, Syria, all by Iranian-backed militias? And even an American contractor, he had a heart attack and died.
Yeah, they're hitting our people and hurting them. We should be not hitting empty warehouses full of weapons, though that's a good target. But a better target would be barracks full of IRGC-supported militias, and make them feel the pain, because that is the only thing that's going to deter them from shooting at our people. And to think otherwise is, the kind word is idealistic. The more accurate one is insanity.
Stephen Bucci served America for 3 decades as an Army Special Forces officer and top Pentagon official. He's a visiting fellow in the Heritage Foundation's Allison Center for Foreign Policy Studies. Stephen Bucci, thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, business owners, are you wondering how to grow your business? Do you need cash flow and a ready source for financing? Well, Signature Bank can help. Hi, Mike Gallagher here to let you know that Signature Bank's loan decisions are made locally by a team who knows your name, cares about your business, and is invested in your success. When you need advice about your business or even have a question, Signature Bank is there to help. There are no handoffs or call centers. This is a team that wants to get to know you and your business. That's why Signature Bank in Chicago is my bank. That's right. I'm a customer. When I call, someone picks up the phone on the other end. And with Signature Bank, I can securely bank anywhere, anytime. Reach out to my friends at Signature Bank. Call 773-467-5630. That's 773-467-5630. Or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. Signaturebank.bank. Your business could be Signature Bank's next success story. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Hi, my name is Peg. I'm a wife, mother, and grandmother. Family is so important to me, and I want to stay healthy so that I can continue to do the things that I enjoy doing with all of them. I would recommend Balance of Nature. It's so easy to do every day. I feel great, and who doesn't want to feel great?
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560. The Answer.
Plumbing the depths of history, that's sound means it's time for in-depth history with Frank from Arlington Heights, because there's nothing new in this world. It's just the history you don't know. Take it away, Frank.
Good morning. Today's topic is nullification rises again. In 1798, President John Adams signed into law the Sedition Act, which essentially forbid the criticism of the president. The states of Virginia and Kentucky quickly passed nullification resolutions, which were attempts to cancel that federal law in their respective states. The Sedition Act expired in 1801, but it wasn't until 1819 in the McCulloch versus Maryland decision, in which the John Marshall-led Supreme Court legally established the supremacy of federal laws over state laws. Despite this, the state of South Carolina, led by John Calhoun, also nullified the so-called Tariff of Abominations in 1832, which brought us close to an early civil war. And ever since that fateful conflict in the 1860s, our country has officially eschewed the idea of nullification. Or has it? One could argue the entire edifice of the Jim Crow South was one giant nullification of the 14th and 15th Amendments and our early civil rights laws. Today, we engage in nullification in other ways. 24 of our states, of course, have marijuana legalization laws, despite there being federal laws which prohibit any of these behaviors. Sanctuary state and city designations do the same on immigration law. And at the local level, quite a few district attorneys have arrogated to themselves the right to debase our state criminal codes by not prosecuting some alleged lawbreakers. So it seems as if this most reactionary of ideas, nullification, is alive and well.
Oh, that's very good, Frank. Yeah, I like that, and I like the pull forward. Also, it seems like we're going back to the Sedition Act, where you can't to forbid criticism of the president or of the ruling class, depending on who occupies the Oval Office and the halls of power, too. So, yeah, everything old is new again.
In 1801 was very cynical. They passed it, and they were going to cancel it at the end in 1801. It was just something designed to make sure that Jefferson couldn't attack Adams. And then, of course, we had the Sedition Act in 1917, which was probably even more severe. So now we have cancel culture. So interesting. It's interesting. We're supposed to have a federal system yet.
Right, nullification. Yeah, nullification of drug laws, nullification of immigration law, nullification of criminal law. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is a very good historical comparison, which is why we do in-depth history with Frank from Arlington Heights. Frank, thank you as always. Appreciate it. We're going to continue our discussion on matters of constitutional principle and the rule of law with Greg Jarrett, legal and political analyst for Fox News. He's got a new book out on said 707.
But now let's head into that newsroom for news here at home and around the world, the one and only. Here is Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
At 6:59, Chicago Fire Department remembering a firefighter who died battling a blaze on the north side yesterday. City of Evanston is delaying a vote on plans to rebuild Northwestern University's Ryan Field, tabling a vote after the university increased a public benefit package. We'll tell you by how much. Protesters in Chicago calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. R. Kelly says he'll sue the federal government over the leaking of private information. And no one is in custody following the shooting of a food delivery driver in the Humboldt Park neighborhood. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
The last speaker lost his job over it. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. New House Speaker Mike Johnson plans to vote today on his plan to keep the federal government funded past Friday. His predecessor, Kevin McCarthy, was voted out for working with Democrats to avoid a shutdown in September.
Over the weekend, House Speaker Mike Johnson proposed continuing resolutions, or CRs, funding the government in two parts. One would fund things like military construction and agriculture, things that at least one chamber's already agreed to fund through January 19th. And then the second CR would fund things like the state and Homeland Security departments and FBI through February 2nd. The thinking is that will ease the debate by combining things that already have some agreement. And this would be without spending cuts.
Mike ought to know better, and Republicans who are thinking about supporting this ought to know better.
Texas Congressman Chip Roy is just one Republican to come out against the idea, and it appears Johnson's proposal may need Democrat support to pass. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says if his country does not defeat Hamas terrorists in Gaza, Europe and the United States are next.
There is no substitute for victory. We have to have the forces of civilization beat these barbarians, because otherwise this barbarism will spread.
He tells Fox's Sean Hannity anti-Israel protesters in the United States are misguided. Hamas denies having fighters at a hospital in Gaza surrounded by Israeli troops and says 40 patients, including 3 babies, have died since an emergency generator ran out of fuel Saturday. President Biden flies to San Francisco today after a speech about climate change initiatives this morning.
World leaders, including Chinese President Xi Jinping, will be in San Francisco this week as part of the APEC summit. 21 world leaders from the Pacific Rim countries are attending, and it's the first time since President Biden's inauguration that he and the Chinese president are meeting on U.S. soil.
Fox's Matt Finn. Thousands march in Mexico City demanding justice for the country's first openly non-binary judge found dead at their home along with their partner. America's listening to Fox News.
Sunrise and 34 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago Fire Department remembering a firefighter who died battling a blaze on the north side. Andrew Price was on the roof of a building yesterday along North Lincoln Avenue when he fell through a light shaft. CFD Battalion Chief Michael McCormick says everyone loved Drew Price.
He was a lovely man. He was as sweet as could be. He took extremely good care of himself and his family. He was extremely healthy. He was a light of sunshine.
The 39-year-old died at a nearby hospital. He joined CFD in March of 2009. The city of Evanston delaying a vote on plans to rebuild Northwestern University's Ryan Field. City Council deciding to table the vote after the university sweetened the pot last night, increasing its public benefits package to more than $150 million over 15 years. Resident Jim Froberg remains against that new deal.
What Northwestern is trying to do, if these two ordinances are passed, is to basically say we have the perpetual right to hold concert and other public events at Ryan Field, and you, Evanston, can never take that right away from us.
NU wants to tear down Ryan Field and replace it with a new privately funded $800 million stadium. Protesters in Chicago called for a ceasefire in Gaza. Hundreds rallied at the Ogilvy Transportation Center near the Israeli consulate yesterday. R. Kelly suing the feds over allegations his private information was leaked while he was locked in a Chicago federal jail. Kelly is currently in prison in North Carolina. No one is in custody following the shooting of a food delivery driver in the city's Humboldt Park neighborhood. It happened early Saturday morning. 31-year-old Tremont Thomas was shot several times and died later at Stroger Hospital. Some lawmakers have vowed to restart the Invest in Kids program in the spring. In the meantime, there will be a disruption of scholarships in the Invest in Kids program. They say, according to Teachers Union, the main opponents of Invest in Kids, they were against it, and now it's revealed they funneled millions of dollars into campaign coffers leading up to this fall's veto session. Bulls overcame a 17-point first-half deficit, but still lost to the Bucks, 118-109. The news, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show. And a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Would you like to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2024? Yeah, that sounds like a Christmas miracle, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly what AM 560, The Answer, wants to do for you. Go to 560theanswer.com/miracle to enter our Christmas Mortgage Miracle Contest. Enter once per day, every day, between now and December 20th, and you can have your rent or mortgage paid for all of next year. Go to 560theanswer.com/miracle.
Are you looking for a way to preserve our founding history and American spirit for generations to come? Look no further than the blueprints of Liberty Brick. Each brick you purchase helps build Liberty Village, a family destination where youth and families will encounter history like never before. You'll feel a sense of pride and belonging when you see your name engraved on a brick in Liberty Village. The Blueprints of Liberty Brick is a way to leave your mark on the future while preserving our nation's rich heritage. Liberty Village will impact hundreds of thousands of visitors, capturing the lives, moments, and stories of the greatest men and women in our nation's founding history. Join us in creating a legacy for generations to come. Visit UnitedWePledge.org today to order your Blueprints of Liberty Brick and learn more about this monumental project.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95 and comes with our Feel Better or Your Money Back guarantee. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
My name is Ruthie. I love helping people. There's so many people that are down. Sometimes all it takes is a piece of pie to make the sunshine come in their life again. And with the help of Balance of Nature, it's making it more fun and giving me more energy. And I would really like to thank Balance of Nature. These are mine for life.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
When you're serious about your concealed carry training and education and are ready to learn from an active police officer with a teaching degree, check out Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian. You'll learn safe, responsible firearm use, home defense planning, conflict avoidance, situational awareness, and how to remain physically, morally, and financially safe in the event you must use your firearm in self-defense or the defense of another. Weekday and weekend classes available.
I'm Sergeant Gary Carr, police firearms trainer and the owner of Illinois Concealed Carry Training. We'll arm you with what really counts, knowledge and training. All concealed carry curriculums are not created equal. This may be the single most important decision you'll ever make for yourself and your loved ones. Choose between 3 and 16-hour classes that are available both weekdays and weekends. We are your one-stop for concealed carry classes, fingerprints, and legal defense plans.
Register for a class today and get 10% off class fees with promo code AM560. Visit IllinoisConcealedCarry.com. That's IllinoisConcealedCarry.com.
7:09, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg traffic center time. Outbound Edens, your jam solid. Montrose outbound to Foster. Kennedy inbound 77 minutes this morning. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Ike accident, right shoulder. Inbound at Des Plaines Avenue, 55 minutes, and climbing into the old post office this morning. Stevenson, solid brake lights inbound right about Harlem Avenue. I-57 in the Bishop Ford jamming into the Ryan merge. Ryan now 30 minutes in from 95th. Chicago's morning insert continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Lots of sun. It'll be a mild day today. The high at 64. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 42. And then sunny, breezy, warm day tomorrow, the high 66. Clouds and warm, breezy on Thursday, the high at 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
34 at O'Hare, 37 at Midway, 21 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Just updating the situation with the Biden Incorporated investigation, such as they are. When is a denial not a denial? This is a question we have to ask ourselves after the testimony offered by David Weiss when he appeared before the House Judiciary Committee was made public. The whole matter of whether or not Weiss sought authorization to charge Hunter Biden and was granted it or denied it was, of course, part of the subject of the inquiry. Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, has said unequivocally that David Weiss in full control David Weiss continued to insist he indeed did have full control to bring any prosecution anywhere. But when he was confronted by the fact that U.S. attorneys in other jurisdictions where he sought cooperation refused to cooperate it, he admitted that the authority he needed wasn't granted. Quoting Weiss here, it wasn't granted. They said, follow the process. I follow the process. I asked for something, and in that conversation, they didn't give it to me. An agreement. Estrada was the U.S. attorney in California, Graves in D.C. They refused to assist in prosecuting Hunter Biden. And then, obviously moving up the food chain, which is the point here. They didn't give me that authorization. So then he was asked, when you ask for something and they didn't give it to you, what is that? And he responded, you want me to say it's a denial, but it's not. Not when I know that weeks later I was specifically told you can proceed. As Jonathan Turley reports, George Washington University law professor, Weiss insisted he was asked to proceed with this process. We're asking you to go through the process. For my mind, it was a sequencing event. It's not a denial in any way, shape, or form. That's the way I interpret it. And Turley characterized this as positively Nietzschean, which I agree. How did you know that weeks later you were going to be given the you can proceed when you were denied? You couldn't have known that. He didn't say he didn't say, though, they said we're denying, we're not going to sign on to this, but at some point we will. He didn't say they said that. He said they just denied him. Weeks later I was told to proceed, so it's not a denial. Well, it was a denial. I mean, we're back into Clintonian land here in terms of the definition of words. It was is back then, and it's denial today. For more on all this, we're pleased to be joined by Greg Jarrett, legal and political analyst for Fox News Channel. He's got a new book, The Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents. Greg Jarrett, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, good to be with you and Amy.
Give us your handle on the state of play with these Biden Incorporated investigations and this, parsing of words and meanings of words from David Weiss.
Well, it's laughable. It's ludicrous. I mean, David Weiss tried to weasel out of his previous efforts to deceive Congress. He sort of doubled down on lies. In a July letter, he said, oh, no, I never, in the previous year in the spring, asked for special counsel status, grudgingly admitting in his testimony last week that he did. He said he had full authority and, was forced to admit he didn't. And he tried to parse words as you've just described. And so, look, the bottom line is that there's a protection racket at the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI to protect the Bidens. And Weiss never had any intention of bringing any charges against Hunter Biden or his father, the evidence of which shows he was complicit in the son's influence peddling schemes. That's why Weiss sat on this for 5 long years and did nothing. He was only forced by a federal judge in Delaware to bring the gun charges. And he says, oh, yes, we're still looking at tax evasion, tax fraud, perhaps money laundering, other things, which anybody else in America would have been long ago charged with. Weiss has no intention of bringing charges on that. He's going to sit on it and let more statute of limitations run.
Right, and I mean, he's also sort of characterizing that plea deal that was scuttled by the judge. It was always our intention to move forward and so on and so forth, when the judge clearly felt that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I mean, Weiss slipped into an ancillary document a complete immunity agreement for Hunter Biden, that he get gets to walk scot-free after he pled guilty to gun charges that would have resulted in the prosecutor saying, oh, no need for any jail or prison time here. So the fix was in to protect Hunter Biden because Joe Biden is also involved. And I think the evidence that has been developed by Comer's committee makes that abundantly clear.
Yeah, so what about the House subpoenas for Hunter and James Biden? Is that going to lead to anything?
Well, I'm pretty skeptical that it will. Hunter's lawyer, of course, he's been subpoenaed, insists, oh, my client's eager to testify, and then he threw in a caveat, at the right time. Translation, never. There'll be all kinds of ridiculous demands, delay tactics, vacuous excuses, because Hunter can't testify. If he did, he'd either have to tell the truth and get indicted or lie under oath, which constitutes even more crimes. The problem for the committee, though, Amy, is the Congress has no power to enforce these subpoenas. Only Joe Biden's own Department of Justice can do that, and I promise you, they won't.
Right, and so this is just run out the clock, get past next November, and see where we stand, right?
Exactly. That's precisely what's going on.
And on the Trump side of the equation, obviously they have prosecutors that will move and judges that won't grant continuances and so forth. What's your expectation of the 4 trials, if excluding the civil one in New York that's ongoing? Of those four trials, how many will be concluded before next November?
Well, it's possible all 4 will. Whether they will hold up an appeal is a completely different equation, assuming there are any convictions. Look, the one in New York by Alvin Bragg, the district attorney, is utterly ludicrous. And so is the racketeering case in Georgia. That doesn't mean they won't gain convictions, but in the end, I can't see how those cases stand up on appeal. In the Jack Smith special counsel case, the classified documents in Florida, the J6 stuff in Washington, D.C., those are certainly more difficult cases to defend, which is not to say that Donald Trump doesn't have legitimate defenses to them, because he does.
I want to get to your book. Actually, it's perfect timing because just before you came on, we were talking a little bit about constitutional law and the McCulloch v. Maryland decision in the early 1800s that established the supremacy of federal law, because a historian who contributes to our show was making the point that we had nullification then prior to that Supreme Court decision, and it seems like we have nullification today with respect to prosecutors and our criminal code, with respect to immigration law, with respect to drug law at the state level versus the federal level. So nullification alive and well, despite the founding documents and the interpretation of said by the Supreme Court.
That's true, and I tackle some of this in my new book, The Constitution and Other Patriotic Documents. As we have continuously sought a more perfect union. Perfection is unattainable because we are intrinsically imperfect people, but that doesn't mean that we haven't throughout our history tried to correct mistakes made, and we have. Look at all the amendments to the Constitution. Immediately the Bill of Rights after the Constitution was signed. So this book is really a tribute, I think, to the many patriots who made America great, this luminous beacon of hope for liberty, prosperity, and justice throughout the world. And, you can read our nation's most important documents, letters, speeches. These are things that change the course of history, inspiring words, galvanizing ideas. It shaped America, our virtues, our aspirations, our ideals, and I don't think enough people truly understand that, which is why I wrote the book.
I mean, in the immortal words of Thomas Paine, what we obtain too cheaply, we esteem too lightly. And maybe some people in 2023 America have come to all the benefits of this country too cheaply and esteem them too lightly.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And look, in the book, I do not promote an agenda. It has, unlike any other book, the full Constitution, all of the Bill of Rights, and thoroughly explained. It contains essential conservative documents as well as liberal ones. Among my favorites, the speeches by Booker T. Washington, all the way through to Ronald Reagan's famous Berlin speech, tear down this wall, and the wall came crumbling down, so did the Soviet Empire. So the book as a whole is philosophically patriotic.
How many Biden speeches are in there?
None.
And real quick, do you think Biden's going to make it to the election? I mean, we have got DeSantis and Governor Newsom. They're debating on Fox on November 30th with Sean Hannity as a moderator. Do you think it's going to happen?
You know, he is so old and feeble, and I don't mean that in chronological age, but I think we've all seen his diminished mental acuity on stage almost every time he speaks, which is why his handlers at the White House try to limit it. You know, they put him in front of a teleprompter, and they even have to, cue him for his gestures and so forth. He seems lost and confused, and I find it so alarming that this is the leader of our country, the leader of the free world, and I have serious doubts that he can make it all the way to the nominating convention or the election.
Greg Jarrett's legal and political analyst for Fox News Channel. His new book, The Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents, collected and explained by Greg Jarrett, #1 New York Times bestselling author. Actually, your book reminds me of another great book from a bygone era, Bill Safire's Lend Me Your Ears, which was that was a great book, great, all the speeches and his analysis of that. So great offering, The Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents. Greg Jarrett, thanks so much.
Dan and Amy, thanks so much for having me on. Take care.
Thank you. Have a great day. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There is a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45, non-smoker, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month, level rate for 10 years. Or a man age 50, non-smoker, can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110, level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 800-773-0433. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 800-773-0433. Remember, 800-773-0433. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker underwriting exam required to qualify. That number for Termbusters is 800-773-0433. 800-773-0433.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
My name is Ruthie. I love helping people. There's so many people that are down. Sometimes all it takes is a piece of pie to make the sunshine come in their life again. And with the help of Balance of Nature, it's making it more fun and giving me more energy. And I would really like to thank Balance of Nature. These are mine for life.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
It happens every year. Winter. Delivering and receiving supplies and getting people where they need to go can be impossible. Keeping your business doors and gates working properly to keep out the extreme weather is a major concern. your business can't afford a loss of income or productivity. Think ahead this winter and call Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. for your commercial door maintenance and security tune-up now. You can't always plan when your doors break down, and it always seems to come at the least convenient time. Industrial Door Company will ensure your doors, grills, gates, and dock equipment are working to specification and give you advice on how to increase the life of your doors. Go online to see a range of products and services at industrialdoor.com. Call anytime, 847-258-5620. Their team will be there before the extreme cold weather causes financial losses for your company and assist in your time of need. Since 1982, the Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. takes care of your doors so you can take care of business.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Christian Faith Publishing helps thousands of authors just like you publish their books with a company dedicated to strong Christian values. And to help you get started, we want to send you our free writer's guide, packed with tips, tricks, and templates for authors. Christian Faith Publishing reviews every book submitted to us. And if your book is approved, we'll edit, design, print, promote, and distribute your book online and in stores everywhere. Imagine seeing your book in specialty Christian bookstores, Amazon, iTunes, Barnes & Noble, and many others. It all starts with a completed manuscript and one call to Christian Faith Publishing at 888-521-4447. If you have a novel, children's book, poetry, biography, or any inspirational work you've written, we can help you get it published today. Shouldn't you work with a publisher who shares your Christian values of integrity and honesty? You can get your book published. Get your free writer's guide today. Call 888-521-4447. That's 888-521-4447. 888-521-4447.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I like this promotion. Listen up, orthodontists and dentists. Why can't you be a little bit more like Dr. Jason Gladwell, who practices the art of orthodontistry in North Carolina?
I love my dentist.
I like my dentist, too, Phil Fidgel. He's a good dentist. But
what do you want to say to your dentist?
I mean, he's no Dr. Jason Gladwell.
Well, what is Dr. Jason Gladwell doing that our dentists are not doing?
New Invisalign patients of Dr. Jason Gladwell's have the option of receiving a membership at the Youngsville Gun Club and Range or a new Glock 19 through his Grins and Glocks promotion.
All right, this is pretty good.
This
is good.
Yeah. That would bring
Guns and Glocks.
Smile to my face.
Okay.
Those choosing the Glock handgun had to attend a Youngsville Gun Club and Range.
Well, yeah.
Training session to go the background checks in order to.
Yeah.
I mean, to do the background checks in order to take possession of the gun, and training session maybe if they are unfamiliar with using a handgun, that would be wise. But that's how it's all legal. It's on the up and up. Grins and Glocks.
It's awesome.
It's great. Of course, this is drawing some pushback.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm the director of something called the North Carolina Council of Churches. I like to get a handle on which churches it's a council of. Jennifer Copeland, they're giving away guns that are going to be lodged in a house somewhere and will potentially create gun violence and gun death. That's such a great example of the kind of thinking you're dealing with.
And I bet you she's never handled or seen a gun in her life.
Guns are going to be lodged in a house and create gun violence and gun death. The personification of guns as having minds of their own. Anyway, I just, a heads up. I think we have a lot of professionals in the dental and teeth, mouth, health care industry. Grins and Glocks. Dr. Jason Gladwell.
I'll tell Dr. Joe all about it.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trying to come up with, creative marketing. That's all. Ted Dabrowski joins us, President of WirePoints, wirepoints.org. All things Illinois policy related at 7:37.
But now straight into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan at 7:31. Here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. The U.S. Capitol stepping up security today ahead of a pro-Israel rally on the National Mall. Meantime, officials in Gaza City are warning that hospitals are effectively inoperable as fighting continues between Israeli IDF ground troops and Hamas terrorists, and the escalation there continues. A pallet fire that did major damage to the I-10 freeway in downtown L.A. is believed to have been intentionally set. Governor Gavin Newsom saying the weekend fire burned within of the fence line of a pallet yard, and the cause appears to be arson. President Biden will meet face-to-face with the Chinese president in San Francisco Wednesday. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan telling reporters they'll discuss fundamental issues of the relationship between Washington and Beijing. Chicago Fire Department remembering a firefighter who died while battling a blaze on the north side. Andrew Price was on the roof of a building when he fell through a light shaft and was trapped. The 39-year-old joined Chicago Fire in March of 2009. City of Evanston is delaying a vote on plans to rebuild Northwestern University's Ryan Field. City Council deciding last night to table the vote after the university increased its public benefit package to more than $150 million over 15 years. Resident Peggy Baxter says
this has always been about what Evanston can receive from Northwestern, and I think one thing that both proponents and opponents can agree on is that we want as much as we can get for our community, and many of us are very pleased with Northwestern is currently offering.
NU wants to tear down Ryan Field and replace it with a new privately funded $800 million stadium. Chicago sports. Bulls lost to the Bucks 118-109. College hoops tonight. The Fighting Illini go for the upset when they host number 5 Marquette. Meantime, downtown at the United Center, it's the State Farm Champions Classic. It's Michigan State and Duke. MSU coming off a big upset by James Madison, and that game will be followed by Kentucky and Kansas. The news is a service of the AM 560 store. Order T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University. And a check of traffic and weather's on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains a glaring difference.
As I have said, and I'm not the only one, the primary difference between Hamas and the Nazis, since both wish to exterminate the Jews, one of Israel, one of Europe, the biggest difference is that the Nazis tried to hide what they did, whereas Hamas wants it publicized.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Reveille. The Wall Street Journal had an interesting read over the weekend in their review section titled, "Why Are We So Obsessed with Sam Bankman-Fried's Parents?" SBF was found guilty of 7 criminal counts. He schemed and lied to take over $10 billion of his customers' money. That will lead to almost 100 years in jail. The article notes that when the guilty verdict was read, the mother crumpled in her seat and the father was seen doubling over, both of them covering their face from the scrutiny of the press and others. Even more interesting is the fact that the parents seemed to believe outwardly, up until the verdict was read, in their son's innocence. Their belief in his innocence seems preposterous. After all, both are Stanford law professors. His mother's area of expertise is legal ethics, and his father's focus is on financial regulation. Furthermore, both parents were well aware of the type of money their young son was playing with. His father even worked for his son. The authorities have not implicated the parents in any of the son's crimes, but it's obvious something was amiss in his upbringing. Brought up by elitist, overeducated, entitled parents separated from reality, this is what you get. The privileged classes increasingly lead lives insulated from most Americans. The parents' friends describe them as deeply ethical, but that doesn't add up. Reasonable people would have been skeptical, but we now live in a world where people trust in their own expertise and believe the other experts with equally fancy degrees or a big bank account. These aren't the people that will save America. Narcissists like SBF and his elitist parents are actually the problem in America. I'm Jeannie Ives. Listen to my radio show on Sundays from 7 to 9 p.m. and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com. That's breakthrough-ideas.com.
Pluto TV has all your sci-fi favorites, all for free. It's TV the way it should be. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Oh, it's a major headache this morning. Inbound Edens, it's almost an hour from Lake Cook Road into the junction. And the Kennedy itself right now is running at an hour and 30 minutes from O'Hare into the Burn Circle interchange and climbing right now. The Ike accident right lane block inbound at Des Plaines Avenue. It's an hour from 390 into the old post office. Stevenson, you're solid with brake lights, First Avenue to Kedzie. It's an hour from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan, we're looking at 38 minutes, 95th into the Burn Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. We'll see sunshine again today and mild. We'll top out at 64. Clear to partly cloudy, 42 overnight, and 66 tomorrow. Currently 34 at O'Hare, 38 at Midway, and 43 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. That theme music means it's time for our weekly confab with Ted Dabrowski, President of WirePoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Here's a fun story. I know since the Pritzker Purge Law took effect, things are going very well because Kim Foxx said so. It's good enough for me. But this story, just like classic Chicago, where anti-violence advocates beat you up for protection money. Westside convenience store owner told police a man has been demanding a $250 a week payout and struck him with a baseball bat while an accomplice robbed him and the store's cash register of more than $1,000.
Oh, they're collecting street taxes.
But the gentleman in question said he was tasked as an anti-violence advocate, claiming he worked for the alderman and that his efforts have decreased violence and drugs in the area since being assigned to the location about a year ago.
So Chicago.
He has beaten that neighborhood safe.
Yeah. And now give me your money. Give me debt.
The individual in question, the anti-violence advocate with the baseball bat, not afraid to use it. His criminal background includes a 10-year sentence for manufacture or delivery of cocaine, 3 years for being a felon in possession of a firearm, 12 years for second-degree murder.
Oh.
In 2005, he was found not guilty of murder and kidnapping. Lawyer fracked him, I guess, on that one. Yeah. All right. And again, I know the Pritzker Purge Law is going gangbusters. Equity. A 7-time felon is one of 2 men who drove a stolen vehicle to a West Loop restaurant, stole an ATM on Friday morning. He's only been out of jail for 3 months, but state officials are not moving to revoke his parole, and he was released from custody to await trial. 7-time felon drove a stolen vehicle to steal an ATM. He's been out for 3 months and released on his own recognizance. Yeah. What could go wrong? Chicago man already released twice under cashless bail, now accused of armed robbery. Yeah, again, nonviolent crimes. Man who'd been charged with crimes twice since Illinois' cashless bail system debuted in mid-September. That's the Pritzker Purge Law, so-called Safety Act. And was released to await trial both times, struck out on Saturday over the weekend when prosecutors accused him of committing an armed robbery.
Oh.
Hmm?
Yeah, victimless crime. Mm-hmm. Sure, it's not.
Yeah. It's going well, though.
Because the person he robbed is never going to be the same.
Crimes on the
Ever.
decline in Chicago.
Says who?
Says Kim Fox and Brandon Johnson. That's good enough for me. What does Ted Dabrowski say? Ted, thanks for being with us, as always.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Good seeing you guys this weekend.
Good seeing you as well. I saw that you've put together a report over at WirePoints, just sort of updating us on where crime in Chicago is year over year. The good news is that murders and shootings are down, so everything's getting back to normal.
Yeah, we wanted to put this out and get ahead of the crowd who's going to say things are better in Chicago on crime, because you're for sure going to hear that. And the reality is we'll hit a record high post-COVID. We'll have almost 80,000 major crimes, and that's compared to 50,000 back in 2019. So you're talking about a 60% increase, and it's also a nearly 20% increase over last year. So the crimes are there. Yes, they are going to focus on murders. Murders are down about 11%. But you look at the big cities like Philadelphia, they're down 22%. They're down 20% in Philadelphia, 21% in Houston, almost 20% in LA. So, yeah, we might be down a little bit, but that might be part of a broader national trend on murders. But crimes are up, and I tell you, we don't know how the Safety Act is going to play. You pointed out some good stories there, which of course we've seen a lot of. But as the Safety Act kicks in more and more, and the no cash bail kicks in, we've seen the population of the Cook County Jail drop 10% in just 2 months, and we're 40-year lows on who's in jail in the Cook County Jail. So that's kind of scary for people who are concerned that there's more and more criminals running around.
What are they doing with all the jail guards then? They must be bored out of their minds.
Same thing you do with CPS teachers. Just pretend like the population's the same.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
Well,
everybody's got an imagination.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, everybody's got an imagination. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, you're right. 7-time felon accused of stealing an ATM. A guy who was released twice commits an armed robbery, allegedly. Those are the people that are on the street, thanks to the Safety Act and thanks to the effort to decarcerate repeat violent offenders. So, I mean, it sounds like it's going well. I like this discussion where, we're only 6 weeks in and so on and so forth. Yeah, but we have real world data from New York that's had a modified, less aggressive form of system of no cash bail since 2019. And we know some of the research there, which is that violent crime ticked up. So, we're not, how are we different than New York? How the human beings here are like the human beings there. They respond to incentives. And so we should anticipate that violent crime will tick up as a result.
Well, that's exactly right, Dan. And we also have the experiment here in Cook County back in 2017 when Chief Judge Tim Evans passed his low cash, no cash bail. And that's, we've seen the Cook County jail population trend down, what is that, like 30%. And, a lot of that has to do with these people, going right back out on the streets. And look, here's what's amazing about the cash bail. It's something that, if somebody gets out on cash bail, you got like a parent watching out over the person. This monetary thing has some impact, and there's a penalty for having done something wrong. It's still while you're awaiting trial, of course. Without that, people they're committing a crime, and they are back out immediately, and so therefore they can go do the next robbery right out, the next day, and that's a real problem right there.
Well, and also too, there's no incentive to go to your court case.
Yeah, and for sure, there's less incentive for that. Although there's a lot of debate about the numbers there, but for sure you don't have to go back because you're not going to lose anything.
Hey, what's going on with Goshen in Manteno? And I saw that your colleague Mark Glennon recently interviewed some folks up in Michigan who have a similar Goshen EV project, and they just recalled all the people on their township board who supported that sweetheart deal for that Chi-Com EV battery maker in Green Charter Township. What's going on in Michigan that perhaps could provide some instruction to the residents of Manteno?
Some lessons for Illinois. Look, this is one of the big national stories, and it's a small story in the sense that it's a small town, but it's huge. So, the Goshen, this Chinese run company that does electric vehicle batteries, is trying to put up a similar plant in Big Rapids, Michigan, just like the one they're doing in Manteno. There's some differences, but it's pretty much the same thing. And this is a big deal. They're trying to get the state government in Michigan and, of course, federal subsidies, billions in subsidies. Well, the people in Big Rapids didn't want it. They kept saying, we don't want it. They knew nothing about the transaction. It was done in secrecy, just like the one in Manteno, and it was being shoved down the people's throats. And so the people in Big Rapids said, well, we're going to recall our entire Green Charter Township. And they did. It's exactly what they did. And I think all of them were Republicans, by the way, who were in power. But basically, it was so much secrecy. Nobody was paying attention to the locals. And boom, they recalled them all and replaced them all. And so now you've got a situation where at least the new town officials can push back, demand answers. It's a beautiful model for what should happen in places like Illinois. We don't have the same recall powers, but it should be a reminder to local officials that, hey, you work for the local people, and you need to respond to them. So I hope people get inspired by what's happening. Everybody should go check out exactly what happened in Michigan.
The national fallout from the unprecedented repeal of an existing K-12 scholarship program continues. Wall Street Journal opined again on what the political ruling class did in this state to end the tax credit scholarship program. And, one of the things that's remarkable to me, it's just sort of a microcosm of the larger problem in Illinois, is Cardinal Cupich, the head of the Chicago Archdiocesan Schools. Maybe I missed it, but he didn't say much of anything. I mean, he did after the fact, but there was no public effort to call people out, hold people accountable, profile scholarship families for Chicago media. There's no effort made by anybody, including Cupich. And that's despite the fact that Cupich knew the end of this program would lead, and it's going to lead, to the closure of 10 to 15 more archdiocesan schools. This is going to further debilitate the Catholic school system in Chicago that's already seen its population student enrollment go from 300,000 in 1990 to 70,000 today. Wow. While Big Shoulders is applauding themselves. It's happened on the watch of all of these private school, Catholic school advocates, Chicago Catholic school advocates. How does anybody explain this? But so that's a separate and distinct. But you're the head. You're the cardinal. Nothing.
Yeah, Dan. I think the whole movement, and this is the problem with Illinois, is that it's like the hostage syndrome. We don't know how to fight back anymore, and I think they're still hoping. Well, let's not muddy the waters. Let's be nice, because maybe
let's be nice.
January, yeah. So in January maybe they'll do something for us. We have to stop this whole being sweet, and let's not provoke them. Don't wake up the unions. That.
What Republicans are going to push for this again?
Who cares? I just heard that on Mike Scott's newscast. Some legislators are talking about bringing back this TCS, the Invest in Kids Act, in the spring. Are you serious? Yeah. I mean, who do you think you're fooling? Really?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Chris Welch. They're not going to bring it back, and the unions are so happy. They're letting all the Democratic legislators who oppose this. Hey, you did a great job in not bringing this to a vote. It's a different type of war that we need to fight for school choice, and it should be a war, because I keep talking about it. I think what's fascinating everywhere I go, I think one of the most interesting things for people is how bad these schools are, and how bad the reading results are and math results. when you've got these results in many of these schools where just a handful of kids are reading at grade level, it should be a war, not a nice request of Welch and Harmon, all these guys who send their own kids to private schools. It should not be a nice request. It should be a battle and a war. We should have it way out loud in the public sphere, and not in the back rooms of the State House, hoping and begging and groveling for a few scholarships.
Ted Dabrowski, President of WirePoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Thanks, Ted. Oh, yeah.
Dan,
go
can
ahead.
I mention one thing?
Yeah, sure.
I want to mention that we had just one thing. We talked about it a couple times. We had the event on the rapid onset of gender dysphoria. We had the event that was canceled by the Writers Theater in Glencoe, but we had it in the Wilmette Library. And kudos to the Wilmette Library for allowing us to have, kudos to them. It's a public space. They should allow it, but they did allow it.
Thank you for allowing us to use the space we finance.
Yeah. Right. But in this crazy age, we had it, and Nutria Neighbors who put that together. I'm on the board there, but Beth Feely, we did a really nice job of having a non-hyperbolic discussion, which I think everybody appreciated. Both sides were there, but it was the kind of way of, we have all these fights over libraries, books, and all that stuff. There's a way to have a civil discourse in a way that a place like the library, everybody learned. How about that? And yes, there were other people on the other side who may have not been happy.
That's fine.
But it was done in a way that we could have a constructive discussion about this massive increase of young girls who are transitioning, and it doesn't make any sense, et cetera, et cetera. So kudos to everybody who put that together. I was really happy to see it work out the way it did.
Excellent. How many people showed up, roughly?
Oh, room full. It's probably 70, 80. I don't know, maybe, maybe more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Oh, I'm glad to hear that it went well. Very good. Ted Dabrowski, wirepoints.org. Thanks, Ted.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Are you a driver of a Ford Power Stroke diesel engine? Tired of taking your Ford Power Stroke diesel in to be misdiagnosed or paying for repairs that don't fix the problem? Well, bring your vehicle to the diesel headquarters, Remke's Garage. The shop is equipped with state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment and highly trained technicians. Take it to the experts. Take it to Remke's Garage. Remke's Garage specializes in Ford Power Stroke, Chevy Duramax, Dodge Cummins, Mercedes Sprinter, and Isuzu diesel engines and transmission repairs. At Remke's, they'll make your vehicle repairs convenient by offering a free commercial loaner vehicle.
Remke's Garage, where you won't spend $1,000 to fix a $100 problem. Call for details and to schedule an appointment at 800-5-REMKES or visit remkesgarage.com. Remke's Garage, your diesel headquarters.
Can't wait to take it. I'm going to take it at 8, and then I'm going to feel great. Taking Balance of Nature. Why? Gives you energy. Get your health back. Have this wide variety of fruits and vegetables because you're not getting enough on your own, and that's where Balance of Nature comes in. There's 31 whole fruits and vegetables, real food, real nutrition, real science. So get the nutrition your body needs and the nutrition your body craves. The vegetable capsules are green. No preservatives, no dyes, GMO, gluten-free. The fruit vegetables are red. And if you have a sweet tooth and don't want to grab a cookie, Dan, or a candy bar, grab a fruit capsule, Balance of Nature, and chew on that. 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago. First-timers get free shipping and 35% off their first preferred orders of fruits and veggies, or go online to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
Looking to purchase a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Saving for a down payment is one of the largest challenges borrowers face when purchasing a home. But I have amazing news. Team Hochberg has a new loan program for borrowers who qualify that will enable you to purchase a home with only 1% down and no private mortgage insurance. You heard me. Team Hochberg has a new loan program that will enable borrowers who qualify to purchase a home with only 1% down and no private mortgage insurance. To see if you qualify, call Team Hochberg now at 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg's helped thousands of radio listeners secure financing on new homes, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. 855-563-2843 or visit our website 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061.
Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you. You've watched the news. Rising crime has been affecting our everyday lives in Illinois more and more these days. Blue Star Security can protect you, your business, or your place of worship. Blue Star Security is the only security company in Chicago with over 900 off-duty police officers, all W-2 employees.
I'm Jeffrey Salvetti, Vice President of Blue Star Security and a 15-year law enforcement veteran. The Blue Star team is made up of over 900 state-certified active and retired law enforcement professionals. We serve businesses and private organizations with supply chain and special event security, and also protect our loved ones at places of worship and schools all across the Chicagoland area. Blue Star Security's technology allows mobilization of off-duty officers quickly and efficiently. Our primary mission is to provide unparalleled protective services for each assignment with integrity while maintaining our commitment to community service in the Chicagoland area.
Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at bluestarsecurityllc.com. That's bluestarsecurityllc.com.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. Not only is it open enrollment for a lot of people, it's also a time you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, switching to MediShare saves about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. But what's more, they like it. MediShare has double the member satisfaction rate compared to health insurance. Double. MediShare is a proven thing, too. For over 30 years, it's a Christian community of more than 400,000 members. And here's the thing, too. If you join before November 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, you'll get another $150 savings. So I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's November 15th. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number. 844-47-BIBLE. That's 844-47-BIBLE. 844-47-BIBLE.
AM 560, The Answer.
Amish texter, on our Glock and Grins program.
Yeah.
That orthodontist in North Carolina, get a Glock 19 or a club membership, new customers. He's got the tagline for it, Amish texter.
Okay. He's so creative. What is it?
Keep your shots and your teeth straight.
Oh, you know what? That
Pretty
is
good.
a perfect marketing line.
That's pretty
to
good.
that.
He should be on Madison Avenue there, Amish texter.
Yeah, good job. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 8:08, we're going to talk to Attorney Ray Kaplan about how to reduce the student loan debt in your life. That's at 8:08.
Now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a Chicago Police Department officer recovering following a hit and run. 3 men are wounded following a shooting in Chicago's Grand Crossing neighborhood. Detectives are investigating after a 16-year-old boy was shot on Chicago's southwest side. Last night, the Bucks beat the Bulls in Milwaukee. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
A big test for the new House Speaker. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Speaker Mike Johnson plans to hold debate and a vote today on his plan to avoid a partial government shutdown Saturday. It would extend federal funding at current levels, with some agencies funded through January 19th and others through February 2nd to buy time to pass individual spending bills.
Breaking it up, doing part of the bills in early January, part by February 2nd, allows Congress to do its job, to do it out in the open, and it allows us to fight for conservative principles and fiscal sanity.
Speaker Johnson on Fox and Friends. Some members of his Republican caucus insist on spending cuts now, so the plan may need support from Democrats to pass. Stock futures are surging since a report out a few minutes ago that inflation is cooling off. The Labor Department's Consumer Price Index for October is up 3.2% from a year ago. That's flat since September. There's a pro-Israel rally today in Washington, D.C.
Thousands are expected to gather on the National Mall to show solidarity with Israel in its war against Hamas. The March for Israel is being put together by several Jewish organizations that say the focus is on condemning anti-Semitism and demanding the release of hostages being held by Hamas.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. California Governor Gavin Newsom says the fire that shut down Interstate 10 in Los Angeles appears to be arson.
Investigators are still trying to figure out who's responsible for it.
That ignition was determined with precision by the fire marshal, CAL FIRE, and their teams.
The fire started on Saturday when construction materials in 2 storage lots sparked, leaving columns burned and guardrails twisted. The after effects are more than just traffic problems. The freeway closure could also slow down the transport of goods from the ports of L.A. and Long Beach, which handle more than half of the goods coming into the U.S. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
President Biden speaks this morning about a new federal report on climate change, then flies to San Francisco for an Asia-Pacific summit and a meeting with China's President Xi Jinping. America's listening to Fox News.
34 degrees, sunshine, 8:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott, a Chicago Police Department officer this morning, recovering following a hit and run. Authorities say the officer was on duty when he was hit by a vehicle at Lake Park Place near 40th and Lake. Driver did not stop. The officer is expected to recover. 3 men are wounded following a shooting in the Grand Crossing neighborhood. Police say the victims were standing outside yesterday in the 7100 block of South State when someone approached and opened fire. All 3 men this morning are hospitalized in good condition. Detectives are investigating after a 16-year-old boy was shot on Chicago's southwest side. The teen was found yesterday with gunshot wounds to the jaw in the 6900 block of Southwestern Avenue. Chicago Fire Department remembering a firefighter who died while battling a blaze on the north side. CFD Battalion Chief Michael McCormick said everyone loved Andrew Drew Price.
He was a lovely man. He was as sweet as could be. He took extremely good care of himself and his family. He was extremely healthy. He was a light of sunshine.
Price is the 4th Chicago Fire Department member to die in the line of duty this year. He joined Chicago Fire in March of 2009. Bulls lost to the Bucks 118-109 last night. The News is a service of Health Insurance Mentors. Are you 65 or older thinking about Medicare? Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Call Stephen Tucker today. For free Medicare advice, healthinsurancementors.com, 630-674-1551. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. And now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Home Depot's sales declined in the summer quarter, though the stock is higher because Wall Street was expecting an even bigger slump. Its sales dropped 3%, a smaller decline than forecast. Its shoppers are holding back on expensive products, but Home Depot's still seeing demand for a smaller scale home improvement. Apple supplier Foxconn is reporting a better-than-expected summer quarter, and it sees business improving later this year, though still not to year-ago levels. It's been seeing weaker demand for cloud and networking products and personal computers. Tesla will double its components coming from India. The country's trade minister made the announcement after visiting Tesla's Fremont, California plant. An electric vehicle company, Fisker, reported a larger loss than expected for its recent quarter. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Get ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago this Christmas season on their spectacular annual holiday tour. And AM 560 is giving away tickets. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/Christmas. Don't miss the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at the All-State Arena. Go to 560theanswer.com/Christmas.
Thanksgiving is right around the corner, a true feast for the senses. And this year, there's even more to be thankful for. This year, I discovered something that's been a game changer for my health. 120 Life Juice Drink. But it's not just their amazing juice that keeps my blood pressure in check. Now they offer a new powdered version of 120 Life, making it easier than ever to take control of my health on the go and while I'm traveling. It's the same great taste, the same natural ingredients, the same heart-healthy benefits as the juice, but now in a convenient powdered form. This Thanksgiving, amidst the laughter, the joy, and the chaos, I'm grateful for my health and for discovering 120 Life, the natural solution for high blood pressure. I want you to try it. Order a 2-week trial pack today, and if it's not for you, you get your money back, and that's guaranteed. Order now, the juice drink or the powdered mix. Visit 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Coupon code LIBERTY saves you 15%. Order now. You'll be thankful you did. Here's to a healthy, happy holiday season from my friends at 120 Life.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95 and comes with our Feel Better or Your Money Back guarantee. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
8:07. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And right now, the outbound Edens is a mess. Montrose out to Gulf. It's 27 out to Lake Cook Road. 50 minutes back in from Lake Cook Road into the junction. The Kennedy right now is at an hour and 40 minutes from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Inbound Ike accident, right lane blocked at Des Plaines Avenue. Stevenson right now, brake lights inbound between Harlem and the Dan Ryan merge. Right now 61 and climbing into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And the Dan Ryan at 37 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
A mild day, lots of sun. Our high today, 64. Clear to partly cloudy for tonight and a low 42. For tomorrow, sunny, breezy, warm. The high tomorrow, 66. Clouds and warm, breezy for the day on Thursday, high 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
34 at O'Hare, 38 at Midway, and 43 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Brew some at home today. A family tradition since 1897. Online at papanicholas.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So you were just at Parents Weekend at University of Iowa.
I was. That's why I missed part of Freedom Summit. But
Yeah.
again, I thank the bosses for letting me have family time because that happens once a year and it's important.
Yeah. And you've got
because you have imaginary children where I have real children.
you're piling up a couple $1 million in
yeah.
college tuition between GTech and Iowa. So we had this conversation at Freedom Summit with Ray Kaplan, who's an attorney at Kaplan Law, eponymously named. And it was about how to reduce student loans, student loan debt. And apparently there's a lot that it's clear there's a lot I didn't know. And I think a lot that a lot of people didn't know about the programs where you can reduce student debt and your debt payments. You don't have to wait for the big guy to wave a magic wand. So we thought we'd broaden the audience for this because I think it's relevant with the kind of numbers we're talking about when it comes to financing college education. Ray Kaplan, attorney at Kaplan Law. Ray, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
So, I mean,
well, I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about financing your kids' college education. And I've personally been on the phone with my clients and the servicers, the federal loan servicers, who say some really wildly inaccurate things and miscalculate payments. I mean, we're talking, if your payment is supposed to be $300 a month, calculating your payment at $3,000 a month.
That's a big difference.
That's
a big difference.
That's a heart attack difference right there.
And so the key for us is knowing how the law applies to your loans so that you can make sure that your payment is being calculated appropriately, that you know what the payment's going to be, and that you understand how federal loans work. And the way they work is they're all on a payment track as long as you pick the right payment plan, and to be forgiven either after 10 years or 20 years or 25 years. So a lot of the time you really just have to manage the loans and pay what you need to pay under the statutes to stay in compliance with the law until they get forgiven. And for public sector workers, people who are, teachers, firefighters, police officers, if you're a doctor at a not-for-profit hospital or a nurse, that means you only have to pay for 10 years. And often the payment is very, very reasonable. There are new payment plans also that were just introduced recently that will reduce most people's payments by half. All of our clients' payments were reduced by 50% or more. And it has a 100% interest subsidy. So effectively, it turns your loans into a 0% interest loan the whole time that you're in this payment plan, and then forgiven. And then other stuff too, like if you're a senior citizen and you're retired, very often your loan is eligible to be completely forgiven, tax-free. So I just think that if people
hopefully you're not still paying off your college loan as a senior, but if you took out a loan like on behalf of your grandkids or something like that.
And it happens a lot. So what will happen sometimes is we see clients who will have federal loans that they took out maybe when they were in college, then they maybe went back to grad school later in life, then they have kids, and then they're taking out federal Parent Plus loans. And these loans accrue interest pretty much from the time they're dispersed, so often for 20 or 25 years. And then before you know it, you are looking at $200,000 or $300,000 in loans. And it's very scary to think, how are we going to do this? And so where I come in is basically just knowing the law and giving you a plan and a strategy to deal with them and hopefully get them forgiven if we can.
So I know somebody who works at the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. She's an assistant state's attorney. She owes about $140,000 in student loans because for undergrad and for law school.
Right.
Should she come and see you? Because
that's a great question. And the answer is yes. And I'm not just saying that in a self-interested way. So it's financialrelief.com and raykaplan.com if anybody wants to call, or 312-294-8989. But really for people in your friend's situation who work in the public sector, because that's considered working in the public sector, there is an executive order out there called the one-time IDR account adjustment. I'm really trying to get the word out there about this because it expires December 31st. And I don't think the Department of Education, maybe they did, maybe that's why they're kind of keeping it on the down low. I don't think they knew how much this was actually going to create in terms of loan forgiveness, but I think so far it's been $8 billion in loans forgiven. Now there's $1.7 trillion in federal debt, federal student loan debt. So it's actually kind of a drop in the bucket, but it makes a huge difference for people like your friend. So this executive order expires December 31st. If we can get the IDR account adjustment applied to the loans, then she'll get retroactively credit towards loan forgiveness and potentially get her entire loan balance forgiven in one fell swoop. And if we can get it done, so we have to apply before December 31st. Then if you get the loan forgiveness by January 1st, 2026, it's a tax-free forgiveness, meaning you don't have to pay federal income taxes on the amount of loan forgiveness that you get, which is really nice too.
So what if you're just like, regular kid from a middle-income family who goes to a state school or private school, and you rack up $10, $20, $50,000 in debt, and you're not taking a public sector job, you're an entry-level job in some bigger corporation.
Right.
Do you get screwed like the middle income families usually do?
So a little bit because people who work in the private sector have to pay longer on their loans, and then usually the forgiven amount is considered taxable income. Everybody seems to think that they're going to change that section of the tax code and maybe it won't be taxable later on. We'll see. But what's the good news is that if you are working, kind of at a middle level job, making $40,000-$50,000 a year under this new income-based payment plan, it's called the SAVE plan. It's an income-driven formula. Your payment, if you're making under, let's say you're a family of four, making under $60,000 a year, your payment is zero, and that counts as a payment towards loan forgiveness. If you're making around under $32,000 and you're a single person, your payment is zero, and that counts as a payment on that track to forgiveness. You just really have to know kind of how they set the system up so that you can stay in compliance with the law and not pay way more than you're supposed to.
So that's sort of like the income share agreements that Mitch Daniels was trying to popularize at Purdue when he was president there, to help underwrite your college education, and then you pay back on a schedule consistent with what you're earning. So it's tiered based on what you're earning,
Right.
and so it gives some sort of accountability for return on investment for that Purdue degree. And of
Yes.
course, ideally, more universities would adopt that sort of, what you pay to this much and you're making this much, and so we'll adjust accordingly. But that program you're talking about at the federal level, it's not quite the same thing, but it sort of operates in a similar fashion depending on exactly what your income is and what your debt load is.
Exactly. So what it does is it makes your loan payments, it really takes the stress out of your student loan payments, because the loan payment is based on a formula that's basically 5 to 10% of your just gross discretionary income. And so that payment is very manageable. And people get nervous about it, though, because they would see their loan balances increasing even though they were making payments consistently. And obviously that kind of does a number on you, because it just seems like, okay, I'm
Can't
not
keep up with
getting
the
anywhere.
interest.
Yeah, exactly. This is never going to go away. But what they don't realize is that loan balance is going to get forgiven. And so with the SAVE plan, the balance doesn't increase because of the 100% interest subsidy. So it's a really good plan. It really keeps your payments low. And the key is that the servicers are so overwhelmed right now with millions of people applying that they are making a lot of mistakes. They're sending out statements with incorrect payment amounts and calculating the payment incorrectly. And so what we want to do is just make sure that everybody knows that there is relief out there and there's no negative credit ramification. So it doesn't negatively impact you in any way. It just keeps your loan payments very manageable until your loans get forgiven. And you might be eligible for forgiveness that you just are not aware of. A lot of our senior citizens are eligible for loan forgiveness. We've had millions of dollars in loans knocked out and forgiven for our senior citizen community who just were not aware that this even existed.
And you had recommendations when we spoke on Saturday about the kind of loans you should and shouldn't take out.
Yes. So the key when we often do pre-college planning for families. So if you've got kids who are getting ready to go to school, I think it really makes sense to have a strategy session with us where we can show you, okay, if mom borrows money, here's what the payments are going to look like, because with federal Parent Plus loans, the payments are based on the borrower's income. And there's actually a carve out in the statute where you don't, they can calculate the payments just on whoever the borrower's income is. So they don't have to take into consideration everybody's income. So that keeps the payments low as well. So a lot of the strategy involves who should be the Parent Plus borrower, who should not be, who has a greater chance of getting the loans forgiven down the line, and why, and what will those payments look like. And we can calculate them so that you know exactly what the payments will be when your kids graduate from college, and you know exactly how to budget for that. And then you know whether or not when you get the loans forgiven, if it's going to be taxable income. So if you're going to have to deal with the tax bomb, as we call it, you'll know how to, we often tell people, open up a savings account and start putting money in that savings account. If they change the tax code, great. You'll, have a bunch of money saved. But if you have to deal with that tax issue at the end of 20 years, you'll have the money and you'll be able to cover it.
Are you just astounded at how much college costs every year?
Yes.
I mean, it is
I can't.
unbelievable. From when we went to school to what it is now, it's
When I went to school 100 years ago, it was, $25,000 a year, and that was outrageous back then.
7,000 a year. And that was okay. Easy, don't.
Yeah, I mean,
roll your eyes.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, but now we're talking 80,000 a year.
80,000 a year is what Northwestern
Yeah.
is.
Two lanes,
and
80,000.
Yes, it's unbelievable. So I think we need to have a reset culturally where we're not putting this kind of tremendous pressure on kids where you have to go to a 4-year college. And if you don't go to a 4-year college, you're going to be a failure. It's not meant for everybody. It really, back in the day, a 4-year college was meant if you were really wanting to pursue a professional degree, right? You don't need a $200,000 degree if you're going to go work at a Starbucks or go work at a law firm as a legal secretary, or if you want to be a housewife, which is fantastic. Why do you necessarily need to saddle yourself with these kinds of loans? You
I
really
want to be
don't.
a housewife.
Yeah. Don't
I
we
think
all?
you missed your calling,
Yeah,
Dan.
exactly.
Maybe we can get you back.
Financialrelief.com is the website, financialrelief.com.
And I'm getting text messages. What's your phone number?
Oh, yep,
Or the-
312-294-8989.
And by the way, I mean, it's just a fun little story. How do you come up with this niche in terms of the practice of law? It was by working your own case, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to figure out how on earth they were calculating my payments the way they were for my own student loans. And so when I realized there was a disclosure on a statement that it was all governed by the Higher Education Act, I thought, all right, I'm going to sit down and start to read that statute. Of course, it's like a tome, it's like this huge thing.
Right.
But really just trying to figure out my own loans was how I figured out this is how it works for everybody, and we can help people just understanding the law.
She is Ray Kaplan, attorney at Kaplan Law. Again, financialrelief.com.
And the phone number 312-294-8989.
Yep.
Ray, thank you so much.
Yes, anytime, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
When life ends, your legacy begins. Ensure your legacy lives on at Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, with 47 locations throughout Cook and Lake counties. Take advantage of 0% financing, lock in today's prices, and safeguard yourself against rising inflation. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 to schedule a free consultation today.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be due to low testosterone. Schedule your health assessment with my friends at Low T Center. They now offer the convenience of monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or you just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy, shipping your treatments directly to you with the peace of mind of monitored treatment. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker, host of Retirement Dakota with Scott Tucker on AM 560. We're heard every Sunday at 8 a.m. and again at 5 p.m. I want to let you know about a new book I just came up with called Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? It's a great tax planning book, whether you stay in Illinois or you look to leave. Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Get your copy of the book at 560book.com. That's 560book.com. And listen to the program on Sunday.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
My name is Ruthie. I love helping people. There's so many people that are down. Sometimes all it takes is a piece of pie to make the sunshine come in their life again. And with the help of Balance of Nature, it's making it more fun and giving me more energy. And I would really like to thank Balance of Nature. These are mine for life.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Go with your gut. Your dog's immune system is based in the gut. A diet lacking in nutrients can cause itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. DINOVITE, Dinovite.
It took a grand total of 2 weeks. The dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Try Dinovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you mentioned yesterday Megan Rapinoe blaming God or
for her injury.
Yeah,
no, there is no God because she was injured.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess she tore Achilles or something.
Yeah, ACL, pretty bad.
Well, which was it, Achilles or ACL? No, it was Achilles.
No, it's Achilles. Oh,
yeah, it was
okay.
Achilles. So God has responded.
Oh, he has?
Yeah, apparently he's a contributor over at the Washington Free Beacon. I didn't know.
Oh, do you want to hear her blaming God, or we don't just move on?
I mean, I think we get the gist of
Yeah.
it. We don't need to punish our audience by having to
basically
listen to
said if there was a God, I wouldn't have gotten
Megan Rapinoe. I mean,
I think so highly of myself.
Yeah, well, God is trying to talk here, so I think we should give him the floor. Here's what God said in reply. I knew this would happen, obviously, but that doesn't make it any less hilarious. The last game of Rapinoe's career league championship, no less, and she injures herself immediately, then has to watch her team lose from the sidelines. I'm still laughing about it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yes, I technically created Rapinoe and love her the same as all my children, even the ones who deny my existence, even the ones who worship Satan and play soccer, to the extent there's a difference.
Oh, stop.
Wonderful. Wonderful riff.
He wrote that? You didn't just put that in there?
No, that's
he
God.
He really wrote that.
I
Are
hope
you
John
sure?
Cass is listening.
I hope Cass is listening, too.
God continues. Nevertheless, I think we can all agree Megan Rapinoe is an obnoxious shrew who had it coming, right? I'm willing to forgive almost anything, but one thing I simply can't abide is disrespect for my country, the United States of America. Just ask Gabe Kapler or Colin Kaepernick. Sorry, Megan, what happened to you is proof I do exist. Good luck with the retirement. God's a little bit on edge. You know, he's a little edgier than I thought. It's not all...
He's hardened over the years.
Peace, love, and happiness. Yeah. I mean, it's having a little fun at Megan Rapinoe's expense because she is such an obnoxious shrew. Yeah, I think it's fair.
It's a lot of text messages in reference to our last interview with Ray Kaplan. So, Dan and Amy, life is better for those who work for the government, just like the forefathers intended.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I love it. That's why I brought up some, kid from middle-income family and grinds it out, gets a degree, comes out with, took loans, gets student debt, goes to work in the private sector to climb the corporate ladder, whatever. And, he's getting... He or she is getting shafted.
And then if they don't pay it, then they have to pay taxes on that income. Yeah, I mean, they're getting it from both ends.
Government employees, early forgiveness, easier, right? I mean, of course, everything is wired for our betters in the public sector.
Got another text message. Just go to junior college or go into the trades, which is always an option.
Yeah.
College is not for everyone, that's for sure.
No.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
College isn't for everyone, including a lot of the professors and administrators. We got to get back to this. I'm going to continue to beat this drum until I can beat it no longer. The censorship industrial complex. Matt Taibbi, one of the journalists who Elon Musk tapped for Twitter files information to report on the collusion between the federal government and social media companies to control information flow. Well, he breaks down the House Weaponization of Government Committee's report on said, and we'll break down his breakdown for you at 8:38.
But first, we got to stop by that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
39 degrees in Chicago. It's 8:30 on AM 560, The Answer. Texas Congressman Jody Arrington this morning is laying out what he wants as part of any decisions on government spending as the threat of a shutdown gets closer this week. Congressman Arrington was on Fox News.
A woke and weaponized bureaucracy that needs to be reined in. We need to reduce spending, and we need to secure the border. We just need to be on a different track altogether.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is looking to pass a two-part bill that extends some aspects of government funding to mid-January, others to mid-February. Gaza City officials claim hospitals are effectively inoperable as the war between Israel and Hamas escalates. The National Guard is being called in to help Washington, D.C. police with today's March for Israel. About 60,000 are expected near the National Mall. A Chicago Fire Department firefighter passed away battling a blaze on Chicago's north side. Andrew Price was on the roof of a burning building yesterday in the 2400 block of North Lincoln when he fell through a light shaft and was trapped. CFD Battalion Chief Michael McCormick says everyone loved Drew Price.
He was a lovely man. He was as sweet as could be. He took extremely good care of himself and his family. He was extremely healthy. He was a light of sunshine.
The 39-year-old died later at a nearby hospital. Price is the fourth Chicago Fire Department member to die in the line of duty this year. He joined CFD in March of 2009. City of Evanston delaying a vote on plans to rebuild Ryan Field. City Council decided last night to table the vote after Northwestern University increased its public benefits package to more than $150 million over 15 years. The delay comes as Northwestern sweetened the pot with a lot of cash that resident Peggy Baxter says is a good deal.
This has always been about what Evanston can receive from Northwestern, and I think one thing that both proponents and opponents can agree on is that we want as much as we can get for our community, and many of us are very pleased with Northwestern is currently offering.
The new vote is scheduled to take place next Monday. Chicago sports. Bulls overcame a 17-point first-half deficit, but still lost to the Bucks in Milwaukee, 118-109. A little more healing for Justin Fields, but we don't know yet whether he'll play against the Lions Sunday. Fighting Illini hoops go for the upset when they host number 5 Marquette at State Farm Center tonight. Also tonight, downtown, some big-time college hoop action as Michigan State takes on number 9 Duke in the State Farm Champions Classic, followed by Kentucky and Kansas. The news, a service of Townstone Financial. Can you afford a home? Townstone has a new 1% down payment program. Restrictions apply, so go to townstone.com for details or call 312-896-2110. Illinois Mortgage Licensee 6629 and MLS 136639. A check of traffic and weather's on the way next on AM 560.
Seems like everywhere you look, you'll find a turkey. In City Hall, in Springfield, and of course, in the White House. But this year, AM 560 The Answer wants to make sure there's a turkey on your dinner table for Thanksgiving. So we're giving away butterball turkeys. And yes, with God as our witness, we know that turkeys can't fly. So to enter, just go to 560theanswer.com/turkey. That's 560theanswer.com/turkey.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker, host of Retirement Dakota with Scott Tucker on AM 560. We're heard every Sunday at 8 a.m. and again at 5 p.m. I want to let you know about a new book I just came up with called Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? It's a great tax planning book, whether you stay in Illinois or you look to leave. Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Get your copy of the book at 560book.com. That's 560book.com. And listen to the program on Sunday.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm Carolyn. I've been in private practice of physicians physical therapy for 35 years.
And you're going to come in, but breathe. Yep, perfect.
I open up at 4 a.m. and I'll go on till 10 a.m. and it's day after day. And as you can see by the equipment here, we are intensely active. People watch, they observe, and people say, Carolyn, what's your secret? And I say it's from proper diet, proper exercise, and of course through Balance of Nature. I'm 60, but since taking Balance of Nature, I feel the energy level of 27. I've been taking Balance of Nature for several years and I love it. I endorse it, I believe in it, and I would recommend it.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Bettenhausen Mobility is the fastest growing authorized Braun Ability dealer serving the Chicagoland area. Bettenhausen offers a complete lineup of wheelchair accessible vehicles with the options to fit all your mobility needs. As a Braun Ability dealer, Bettenhausen Mobility can provide sales and service to all accessible vehicles and mobility solutions on several makes and models. Whether you need side entry with manual or power operation or different ramp options, Bettenhausen Mobility has a solution for you. Showroom open at BettenhausenMobility.com.
Ashley Banfield and Chris Cuomo on America's fastest growing cable news network, News Nation.
The viewer seems to have been lost in the shuffle of cable news lately. They don't want a team sport. They want the full picture.
The appetite is greater than it has ever been for perspective, for understanding, and for information that they can not just trust, but use.
See why more people are turning to News Nation, news for all America. To find News Nation on your screen, go to joinnn.com.
7. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Eden's at 15 minutes. Lake Cook Road to the junction. Kennedy accident, left lane block inbound at Keeler. Right now it is an hour and 45 from O'Hare to the Burns Circle interchange. The Ike accident cleared inbound at Des Plaines Avenue. It is an hour 7 from 390 into the old post office. On the toll roads right now, Tri-State stop-and-go traffic northbound Archer up through the O'Hare Oasis. And delays on the Veterans I-355 northbound as you approach 127. 8094 Northwest Indiana, accident left shoulder westbound at Burnham. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Right now, we are seeing mostly sunny skies and a high of 64 today and a low of 42 overnight. Currently 39. Your next news update is at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. This censorship industrial complex that we've talked about on this show and I'm not letting go of. I mean, you have this huge case that's not getting near the coverage it warrants, Missouri v. Biden, which the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has already decided in favor of the attorneys general who brought the case against the federal government. For, as the Twitter files have documented with great specificity, the federal government using cutouts to direct social media companies, to collude with social media companies, because a lot of them were willing, they're men and women of the left too, to control the flow of information. And, you know, it's a bit frustrating because you would think that people that are concerned about free thought and free expression would think this important. You would think that Republicans who've been on the wrong side of the censorship industrial complex since 2016, even when they've been victorious, like in 2016 and in 2022, to some extent, you would think that they would put more profile on this story. And it just continues. In anticipation of the Supreme Court's decision in Missouri v. Biden, where they will rebuke, I can almost guarantee you, they will rebuke the federal government. They say, you know, basic, simple constitutional law principle, you cannot task private parties to do what you yourself cannot do. If you doing it was unconstitutional, then tasking a private party to do it at your behest still makes it unconstitutional. And that's what I'm talking about the censorship. We know from Robert Epstein Not that he's the Oracle of Delphi, but I mean, it's pretty compelling evidence, and he's been talking about it since 2016. The Harvard-trained psychologist, former editor of Psychology Today, actually, who's been studying how Google, in particular, has been manipulating its search engine results since 2016. Remember, he's the one who testified the same hearing that Prager did before a Senate subcommittee about, about YouTube censoring PragerU videos. He testified that his research suggests that Google moved between 2.5 million to 10.5 million votes in the direction of Hillary Clinton in 2016. Now, you can question the research and methodology and go into that, but he's been talking about it, warning about it, making recommendations as to what to do about it since.
I wonder what they did in 2020.
Well, right. He said, I remember him saying
and Biden.
In advance of 2020, he was talking about the manipulation of information flow by these tech platforms, Google, Facebook, that moved 6 million votes. I think that was his estimation. And so those individuals who got caught and exposed with the Twitter files and are going to be taken to task by the Supreme Court, they're already taking next steps to maintain their perch as our information overlords. Mike Benz, former State Department official, has talked about the NewsGuard operation. They're replacing what they had in 2020 with a new middleware man, that's what Benz was calling it, to continue to try to manipulate the information you see and you don't see to influence the electorate's choices in 2024. And so we now have a House Weaponization of Government Committee report on the topic. It's another layer to this. And Matt Taibbi, man on the left, not a Republican, just like Schellenberger, not a Republican. He provided this sort of information, this real-time tutorial on the conclusions of the House Weaponization of Government Committee's report. Really interesting. And if you remember from the conversation, there are these quasi-governmental agencies, consortiums that were a consortium that was set up that included the Election Integrity Partnership, which was housed at Stanford University. And, here's some of what we know from the actual communications from these principals. University of Washington, Stanford University, the Atlantic Council, and CIS, Center for Internet Security. These are all fronts for government agencies, and they're largely funded by the government. This is how they did it, and they're doing it again. And you're just not getting the sort of attention. It's just not getting the sort of attention it deserves. It may be a little complicated. You have to sift through all the acronyms and understand the org charts and how the different players interact with one another. But the upshot is they're rigging the election. For all the talk about vote-by-mail programs and Zucker boxes and early voting periods and counting and Dominion voting, I mean, the manipulation of information is a massive deal.
There was a lack of capability around election disinformation. This is not because CISA didn't care about disinformation, but at the time they lacked both kind of the funding and the legal authorizations to go do the kinds of work that would be necessary to truly understand how election disinformation was operating. So because of the feedback and the ideas from this group, we were able to pull together pretty quickly a project between these four different institutions to try to fill the gap of the things that the government could not do themselves.
That's Alex Stamos, No relation to John, I don't think. That's Alex Stamos, who is the head of the Election Integrity Partnership. What did you just hear him say? We did it because the government couldn't. I mean, that's an admission of guilt. CISA, founded, funded, administered. This is the cyber information and cyber infrastructure and security administration within DHS. So that's a government entity. All right, so listen to Taibbi.
Why does this matter? Okay, well, one of the denials is CISA didn't found, fund, or control the EIP. Well, here's founding. Here's funding. And here's controlling, essentially. I mean, they're the ones who are doing the demo. I mean, they perhaps didn't control the actual administration of the program, although we'll come to that. But they at least put it together at the beginning. And so this all directly refutes the denials at the time.
And he's just going through documentation which substantiates that they said they didn't fund, found, or administer. They did all those things. By the way, they're setting up portals for the state level actors to send information to the national level actors in terms of what, for example, election officials, Ali Giannoulias, J.B. Pritzker, what they say is disinformation going on in Illinois. Well, send that up the food chain, and then we'll come down on it effectively. The EIP, again, Election Integrity Partnership, Stanford University, one of the 4 entities that's relevant here. The research director at EIP.
Saying that the gap the EIP was filling had, quote, several components, one of which was unclear legal authorities, including very real First Amendment concerns. So this is one of the founders of the program saying openly that, well, we're filling these gaps because of there would be otherwise very real First Amendment concerns. And this is from people who have spent the entire year telling us that we were crazy for saying that there might be a First Amendment issue. And they themselves are conceding it in print. But of course, no one's ever going to go back and ask them about that.
An email between a Facebook official and a Homeland Security official that is summarized by Taibbi about that state-local misinformation portal.
DHS can't be the front of this organization, but beneath the surface, it still wants to be involved. Behind the scenes, it still wants to be involved. And not only that, CISA and ISAC, which is a sub-agency of CIS, to get even more confusing, CISA and CIS would like to have incoming the same time that the platforms do. If you're wondering what incoming is, all the people in this world seem to have this irritating literary habit of turning verbs into nouns and nouns into verbs. Incoming is just like stuff they get in the mail or complaints or whatever. So they want to get the complaints at the same time that the platforms do. And this is important because it explains the rationale for this convoluted structure that we see here, and there's some other diagrams like it. But more to the point, it explains why they had to have a superficial private organization, CIS, which I infamously confused with CISA in one of the Twitter Files tweets and got nailed on it by Mehdi Hassan. But these groups are more or less interchangeable, but they needed to have CIS be in front because DHS cannot openly endorse the portal.
Right. So they have this phony private, quote unquote, front, but DHS is saying we want to get information in real time at the same time that this phony private front gets it. So in sum,
this is a government effort to get involved with something that's rather serious. What kinds of speech heading into an election are seen more, seen less, are labeled, not labeled? They act like this is just a pro forma effort to get rid of, what do they say, persistent lies. But these have programs like this have profound impact on how people vote, which people will turn up.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. David Lansing, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. When I hear a Republican say, I'm going to post it on Facebook, I respond to them, I'm going to translate what you just said. You want to steal the 2024 election in favor of the Democrats again and help Zuckerberg. And then when I hear a Republican say, Google it, I translate it back to them and say, I know what you just said here. You said you want to start believing socialism is good. Because that's what Google does. They give you all this, socialist crap in their search results. Anyway, have a good morning.
Thanks for the call. I'm not saying get off social media, but participating in social media on social media platforms is, it's feeding the censorship industrial complex, especially in the short term. You have to go where people are. You have to communicate to people where they are. You have to live on the landscape as it actually is. We can argue about how it got this way and where it should go and what we should do, and that's what we need to argue about, what we should do. But silence, pretending that there are, not hundreds of millions of people on Facebook, all the platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Insta, TikTok, pretending that is doing what? You think that's aiding the cause? No. So in the short term, there are things that have been recommended that Republicans should be talking about. Things like I mentioned Robert Epstein has suggested, like forcing Google to publicly disclose the algorithms used for search results so you can potentially identify any political manipulation. Particularly because these social media platforms now have unclean hands since they've been working in service of the alphabet soup of state agencies, including law enforcement agencies, including national security agencies.
Well, remember FBI and Twitter when they were exchanging emails? They considered themselves coworkers.
Yes, they're colleagues.
Colleagues.
Yeah.
But they wrote that one like, you're my coworker. Like, what is going on?
Again, the misinformation, disinformation board that they tried to set up at DHS, and everybody got all up in arms because it's so obvious, it's so between your eyes, and then they scuttled that, but all they did was move it underground. We don't need to do it formally. We don't need to take heed about who we're going to tap to be our point person and what she said or done in her past, and we don't need the congressional oversight, and we have more people in addition to Mayorkas from DHS get whistled before Republican-controlled House committees to get pilloried and embarrassed. We'll just communicate surreptitiously. We'll set up cutouts and false private fronts and do through the back door what we can't do through the front door. And they're doing it again, even in advance of what is likely the outcome in that Missouri v. Biden case with this NewsGuard. This is the next generation of it. With NewsGuard that we've talked about before, which is set up private company, truly private, not government funded, but it's got all of the government intelligence brass on its board, the Michael Haydens of the world, and former NSC personnel and so on and so forth. And they aim to do the same things, but it'll be private actors working with private actors. So that's outside the purview of constitutional violation. Republican Party needs to, for all the talk about ballot security and election integrity, and it's all warranted, this needs to be a much bigger part of the conversation. Information is power, right? Informs people's understanding of what is or is not happening. And we sort of have a relatively cavalier attitude about what the left is doing, what the censorship industrial complex is doing. That better change in the next 12 months. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-299-7878. That's 800-299-7878. 800-299-7878.
In the heart of Bedford Falls, one man faced incredible challenges in his business journey. George Bailey, a humble banker, knew that success often comes hand in hand with adversity. But George wasn't alone in his struggle. He discovered the power of resilience, innovation, friends, and community. Like George, your business may face obstacles, financial setbacks, fierce competition, IT nightmares, or unforeseen crises. But remember, it's not about the challenges you face. It's about how you overcome them. At Turnkey, we understand the George Bailey spirit. We're here to provide you with the solutions, guidance, and support you need to conquer your business and IT challenges. Whether you're a small-town bank, distributor, manufacturer, or a cutting-edge startup, we believe that every business has the potential to thrive. Together, we'll build a bridge to your success, just like George Bailey did in Bedford Falls. Join us at Turnkey. Let's write your own It's a Wonderful Business Life. Because like George, your dreams are worth it. Start a conversation today by visiting turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world one life at a time.
I'm Carolyn. I have been in private practice of physician's physical therapy for 35 years.
And you're going to come in, but breathe, breathe. Yep, perfect.
I open up at 4 a.m. and I'll go on till 10 a.m. and it's day after day. And as you can see by the equipment here, we are intensely active. People watch, they observe, and people say, Carolyn, what's your secret? And I say it's from proper diet, proper exercise, and of course, through Balance of Nature. I'm 60, but since taking Balance of Nature, I feel the energy level of 27. I've been taking Balance of Nature for several years, and I love it. I endorse it, I believe in it, and I would recommend it.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, thanks so much for making us part of your morning, part of your lives. Thanks to Justin Kosick, who's back. We missed you. And to Quinn McCarthy. We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Enjoy the day. Brilliant sunshine and a high of 64 degrees. It's 9 a.m. WIND Chicago.
A rally on Wall Street. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. The Dow is up 462 points to start the day after a report that inflation is cooling off. Fox's Janika Sola.
The Consumer Price Index was unchanged in October. For the year ending in October, the increase was 3.2%, down from September's reading. Economists were expecting inflation to